What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, May 20th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. I'm pumped up, man. Pumped up. Didn't sleep much last night. Feel like I slept for 10 hours. Just ready to fucking go, man. 24 hours from the Preakness Stakes, all day action. In fact, 23 hours and 15 minutes until all-day Preakness action. We're coming off another winning day. It's just been a glorious couple months. Cash just keeps coming in. God, it feels so good. Even juiced up my unit size a little bit. God, it feels so good. 3-2 in MLB. Not a great day there, but that under 6.5 from Florida Tampa. Does it get any easier? For you guys to know, Sunday, I believe, is the next Tampa, Florida game. And I won't be going right back to the under 6.5 well. There was some things that was predicated that action on the Lightning playing a road-style hockey game. I'm not entirely sure what happens when they get home feeling good about themselves. So I'm not just going right back to the under 6.5 well. That's available right now, minus 120 if I wanted to bet it. So just so you guys know, I'm not going right back to the well. I've bet both hockey games. And I've made the exact same bets I made in game one of these two series because I think they're both going to cash. And I think after Calgary wins game two, one thing I will go back to the well on is I probably bet Calgary in game three. I just think they're that much better than the Edmonton Oilers. And as you know, about a week or so before, a couple weeks leading up to Pubapalooza, I was so overwhelmed and I felt a little bit behind on stats. And then Pubapalooza, was a 2-week Kraken fueled. I don't know what happened. I remember very little of it. And then I fell behind on stats. So I've been trying to get my stats back together. And the one person who I was a little behind on was Babano. And what a mistake by me. I had no idea. He didn't even know how unbelievable he's been on the show. And I mean, unbelievable. If this was a bigger sample size, this would be better than what Dutch has done in NBA. This would be the finest performance of any guest I've ever had. He started on our show on Friday, February 18th. There was another mistake. I should have had him on earlier. 35 wins, 17 losses, 67.3%, plus 21.07 units, ROI plus 40.52%, average line plus 107. Who cares that I've hit 5 straight winners in the NHL? Look at that record that Babano has. Holy shit. And it was stupid of me because I would have been selling it nonstop to get viewers. And that was all my fault. All my fault. Let me just say that again. Babano's NHL record on Betting with the Bag. 35-17. 67.3% plus 21.07 units ROI plus 40.52% average line plus 107. Dennis Garcia says, go away, Florida frauds. Slatsy, how you liking our Lightning futures, baby? Fuck yeah, man. It's been a while since I had a giant year of futures. I want it this year. All right, shout out to all the cappers joining us. We have the Slap That Ass play of the day from Red Girl. And because it says slap that ass, YouTube is afraid to put it in the YouTube chat. Because YouTube is afraid that it will arouse all of us cappers. So it's here in this chat here. Slap that ass play of the day is Arizona first 5 under 5.5 minus 115. And she also likes the full game under 11.5. Get money Friday from Red Girl. What up? Turnsey in the house says, morning, guys. 2-0 on no goal first 10s last night in NHL, both big prices. I just didn't want to double up on Tampa, Florida because I was just so confident on the one bet. But there was a plus 145 on the first period under 1.5. Should have jumped on that with you, Turnsey. You're a good man. Great capper. Viper NB in the house. We got James S. ready to get to work. D. Jenkins ready to eat. Nutflush Allen ready to go. Keon Jackson. Mike M. Chief, baby. Mark Schillingberg. LJ from H-Town. Diamondbacks Cubs under 6 first 5 plus 100. Now, yesterday, Ragu said it was his favorite spot on the board, and I said that I don't think it's a big deal that there's 10 and 11-mile winds blowing out. Now we have 23 and 24-mile-an-hour winds. And a lot of sharp cappers are on the first 5 unders in that game. With Humberto Castellano going up against Kyle Hendricks, I get it. I don't think I'm going to go right back to the well. There's my guy, JPZ for Sheezy, loving his videos every morning on his way out the door. He's putting out these videos at like 4 or 5 in the morning in LA. I respect to JPZ. Respect to JPZ. Sammy Comer says, what up, low baggers? En route to Toronto for the weekend. Catch a couple Jays games. Sammy, we going to have some drinks or what, man? Now, well, shit. I can't tonight because I'll be grinding 6 different tracks. And I can't tomorrow because I'll be hammering horses live. So, damn. But Sammy, I'm gonna hit you with my number in DM so we can make something work moving forward. Kyle Hintley and Richie Rich says Ian's NHL is next level. There's DJ Big Boss in the house. The boss. We miss him. He's going to be taking some time off of work here in June so he can jump back on the show. But damn, do I miss the big boss and what he does to seniors I have enormous respect for. Enormous respect. They love DJ Big Boss, man. They love him. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Yeah, why wouldn't they? DJ Big Boss in the house. Mark Schillenberg cracked the EPL after the show yesterday. 2 draws, Everton money line, beautiful. Then swept MLB. Love it. I love it. Nut Flush Allen, another total winner. Blues team total over 2.5. Speaking of the Blues team total over 2.5, we've seen Kyle Hintley make some big boy bets. Richie Rich made a big boy bet on that team total over 2.5. Love seeing you guys cash. There we go. Panthers and Heat made me depressed, says D. Jenkins. Sorry about that. But Billy Friedrich says Bolts and Blues. Little B alliteration. Great group. Okay, we got to get to work. Jeffrey Moore says thanks for the Boston pick. Also put them in the money line parlay. Yeah, shout out to Trotwam, who's all over the Celtics. And there it is, Slatsy. Getting that feeling when we win our NFL Survivor pools. Getting that feeling too, Slatsy. And I tell you what, it's a great feeling. It's a spectacular feeling. I love this feeling. If I could bottle it. There's Hunter Engelhart. Hunter, we need you to make your debut. I tried to get him last Wednesday. How about Thursday? Can we lock you in for Thursday? We need more Hunter Engelhart on this show. How about Thursday? MLB debut from Hunter Engelhart here on Betting with the Bag. All right. Time to get to work. Rodney Barton, my guy. I like it. Okay. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. And Wallaby King ready to go. Saturated. Yes, saturated is just very but I want you guys to know that I'm not going right back to the well in game 3 in Tampa. I'll be a very curious observer because I have a funny feeling that Slatsy and I are going to make some fucking money on our futures. It's good. There's Matty Ice in the house. Great to see you, Matty Ice. Okay. It is time to get to work. Sorry, I guess I left her up for too long. Thank you. Yeah, my bad. Okay. And Kyle Hintley and big 10K bet on Calgary. Woo-wee. Kyle Hintley pulling out the big dollars. All right, let's get to work right now. And, it's funny. I really feel like I owe this man an apology because had I known that this was his record in the NHL, I would have been screaming it from rooftops just to get eyes on our show. I would have been nonstop selling this record everywhere I went. Be walking around Parkdale screaming it at straight. Well, they scream right back at me. They're all smoking rock out here. Wouldn't scare them. They'd know exactly what I was talking about, probably too. Junkies. It's time to bring on Pride of Hamilton, Ontario, our Steel Town, our black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. And when I repeat his record for a third time, I'd like to do it while he's on screen, just so he can really let this shit soak in. Please welcome to the show, Babano in the house. Babano, how are you, my man?
Very good. And it's nice to know that the record for me in the NHL is that good on this show, because when I posted on Twitter my overall season record from October, there's still people that are in disbelief that Someone that bets usually quarter and half unit wagers for much of his hockey wagers is up over 40 units. And it's people like, that can't be true. That can't be possible. But it is possible. It is true. And the fact that I'm now over 20 units on this show alone since February on Fridays in the NHL is proof that, look, I don't fudge shit. I don't make shit up. This is an all-time historic NHL season for me. It's been one of my best ever. It's been great, but the playoffs have been a little up and down, and, we got to try to maintain that now. So, Jimmy, don't feel bad, about failing to keep up with things. You're busy. You're on vacation just now. Hope that was good. Hope you and the family had a phenomenal vacation. But, yeah, it's been a terrific NHL season, and it's nice to know that the hard work you put into it pays off.
It is. And I wish I had have known, man. Well, I was putting in numbers like, what? Another 5-0. I was like, what? Is just extremely impressive. And an average line of plus 107. So one more time for all years, 35 wins, 17 losses, 67.3%, plus 21.07 units, ROI plus 40.52%, average line plus 107. I've hit 5 straight winners in NHL, and I know it doesn't sound as good beside Babano's action. But in NHL playoffs, 5 straight winners, I'm 13-9, hitting at 59.1%, plus 4.58 units, ROI plus 20.82%, average line plus 103. And also, it actually is a little bit more impressive than that sounds, because I got off to a bad start in the NHL playoffs. I was open the gate 1-4. Open the gate 1-4. So since then, I'm 12-5, and it feels good. So let's get right to work, Babano. I've made moves on both of these games. And a big shout out to all of you guys. Juan Ruiz, Brothers and Bets, Real Deal Prime, Hunter Engar. By the way, check out Brothers and Bets. He's putting out videos every night, the day before games, putting out on his YouTube channel. He's a great capper, great guy. Got a chance to hang out with him in San Antonio. Both Babano and I did. And he's money in the bank. We want more Brothers and Bets on our channel. And we want to cash with this guy. I mean, he's money in the bank. So big shout out to Brothers and Bets. We got AJ in the house. Says he cashed on Ross Colton anytime goal last night. Oh, God. I laughed out loud. That's what I did. I laughed in the faces of the Florida Panthers. I pointed and laughed. There's Creekman in the house. Says Big B kicking the books nuts. Says giddy up, Stallion. And he called you Goldfinger. He called one of us Goldfinger, by the way. I imagine it was you, Babano. I'm not sure. But it did remind me of a joke when I started out in stand-up. My friend Sean Proudlove had a joke. That is, look, we're 20 back then. We're talking 20 years ago, but started about James Bond and how the only villain who would really get to James Bond would be a gay villain, right? Because he wines and dines all the whim whatever gay, and then he gave it, and then he had brown finger, and he did this whole thing about them. But let's get back to work here. Hunter Engelhart says, donkey punch those haters, Babano. Let's get to work right now. We start 8 p.m. Eastern. East second round, game 2. Carolina leading this series 1-0. And honestly, I came very close a few different times to betting the Hurricanes. I didn't. And I still may, and I want to talk it out. I did, however, bet the under 5.5 at minus 115. There's Andy Savage in the house. Love hearing that. Rangers 52-24-6 in the regular season, 25-14-2 on the road. They were always good on the road, and they have a great coach in Jared Gallant. And I'm so happy that DeBoer has no job coaching in the NHL, and Gallant is here in the second round of the playoffs. That's justice. Hurricanes 29-8-4 at home. We're at PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Shesterkin seems to be on his game. Now, he buckled late. And I do want to talk about the psychology behind how the Rangers are feeling, because I think it could be two ways. And I do want to talk a little bit more stats, but two ways. Thank you, Creekman. I love being a Goldfinger. Thank you. And that is that, are they buoyed by the fact that their defense was strong and that they were up 1-0 for 56 minutes of that game? Or did they have their heart ripped out of their chest and Mortal Kombat finished on the ground? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, and that's what's kind of held me off here. But Shesterkin, 3.42 goals against average, 911 save percentage is not what I expect from him in this series. And we know that because Carolina Hurricanes had just 14 shots on goal in the first and second. Sure, they got the first 7 shots of the third period, but they don't scare me at all. 13.5% power play. Now, they're a good 5-on-5 hockey team. They're a good team. They're a good team. Jacob Slavin is a great defenseman. Rod Brindamore is a great coach. Jordan Stahl is exactly who you need in the playoffs. And Sebastian Aho is tougher and bigger than he looks and can score. And he's the one who scored late in the third period to give them a chance to win it in overtime. The Hurricanes have won all 5 playoff games at home, and they've outscored their opposition by a 20-7 margin. So do we look at a team total under for the Rangers, but I'm already on the under 5.5, or do I just bet the Hurricanes? That is the question. One more thing about Antti Ranta and stepping up right now. 2.13 goals against average, 933 save percentage in the playoffs, and he was the Rangers' backup goaltender for 2 years. Let's hand it over to the man who has a 67.3% hit rate with an average line of plus 107 and an ROI of 40.52% in NHL on the show. Babano, Rangers, Hurricanes, floor is yours.
Unfortunately, we're not adding to it with this game. I'm staying out. I mean, I'm in a good spot right now because I have Carolina to win the series and to win game 1. I took that combo at plus 105. It was a great price, and I just could not stay away from that. It was a phenomenal price with that. And I think I mentioned that with Peter Loshak and Jose on Tuesday. I was on with them Tuesday, and I said I liked Carolina to win game 1 in series, and that combo paid plus 105. So now I've essentially can sit back, and I've got Carolina plus 105 now to win the series. And then right now they're minus 350, in that range at most books. So talk about having a good price, on your side now. And I do think Carolina is going to win this series. Now, as far as tonight goes, I would lean Carolina in the game as well because I don't even think you got anywhere close to Carolina's best in game 1. And a lot of that is credit to the Rangers. The Rangers, what they did is they had a lot of bodies in the neutral zone. They really made things tough through the middle of the ice on the Carolina Hurricanes in game 1. They really didn't get that. Yeah, and the one thing Carolina has is 3-4 lines of pretty good offensive depth and speed, and they really weren't allowed to get that going. It was about a textbook clinic of a defensive effort from the Rangers. Unfortunately, it was only for 58 minutes instead of 60, and it ended up costing them as Aho scored with 2 minutes left and tied the game, and then they ended up winning in overtime. I wouldn't even say Jimmy Shesterkin. You said he melted down. I don't know.
First goal, he melted down. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how. I think he's going to be excellent in this round. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame it on him. I think he was very good. The Aho goal, look, it was a beautiful pass from Jarvis. Beautiful pass to find him behind it. And he got behind the defense. That can't happen. Shesterkin, he made the first save. Nobody took Aho out either. He gets the second, third chance at it, finally puts it in. There's not really much Shesterkin can do there. And unfortunately, the overtime goal is just a shitty break. It really is. I mean, the puck, ticks off the stick of Ryan Lindgren, the defenseman for the New York Rangers, and just changes directions and goes in past Shesterkin. He really couldn't have done anything there. It's a tough goal to lose a game in by, but nevertheless, they got to try to bounce back now. And the problem with the Rangers losing that game, in my opinion, is that it was a missed opportunity. Because I don't think you can bank on Carolina being as poor and as sloppy and as just out of sync. Passes weren't clicking. The puck movement was not good. There was a lot of things about Carolina's game where in the first 2.5 periods of game 1, they didn't look like the Carolina Hurricanes, especially with the way they normally play on home ice. That's why this is so tough for the Rangers. That was their opportunity to win a game that they were the much better team for the majority of that game, and they still lost. That's tough in my opinion, and I don't know if I can bank on Carolina playing that poorly again for a second straight time at home. So I lean Carolina. I don't love the price, and why would I take Carolina tonight when I'm already got plus 105 in the series at a great price? So for me, there's a pass.
Yeah, Richie Rich says I see a wide open game here. The Rangers can try to make it wide open, but
feels like after an extremely low event game like game 1, we could see the opposite today. But at the same time, the Rangers played great defense. Carolina's very good defensively on home ice in these playoffs for the most part. And I'm not rushing to back the over in this game. And I'm not rushing to bet the over right now, period. I mean, we had 2 more unders last night in the NHL playoffs, following 2 unders the night before. Well, we had Edmonton, Calgary's the one exception. But there was an under in the The first game, Tampa, Florida game 1 stayed under. So, I'm not in a rush to bet the over. There's some reasons to like it, but I'm probably going to stay away.
95 degrees here in Raleigh, says Billy Friedrich. That's not going to help offense at all. I don't, it doesn't, the Rangers want to open it up. Definitely. Hurricanes aren't going to let them. Hurricanes aren't going to fall for that. And the Hurricanes are just going to whittle down the Rangers.
Yep.
And so I think this is a fine price for a team that is undefeated at home and has outscored their opposition in those 5 games, undefeated 20-7. I'm very comfortable. It's moved back 5 cents to the Rangers. So, I will be adding the Carolina Hurricanes -1 to my action. And I'm not concerned here. Trendy says Rangers team total first period. Are you going over or under? I like it here. So I like it. So I'm on the under 5.5 -115. And the thing is that Rod Brind'Amour won't let his team. And if you make a dumb penalty out there, you're not playing. Rod Brind'Amour has the same sort of look on his face that Darryl Sutter has. And you make a mistake, a boneheaded hooking penalty, and you're not going to step foot on the ice. And I'm sure he's hammered that over and over and over and over. This Rangers power play is hitting at 30%, 30 in the playoffs. And the fact that they're 75% penalty killing, which is worse than it was in the regular season, or won't hurt them that badly, is because the Hurricanes can't score on the power play. Slatsy says, Jimmy, could you ask Babano why Seth Jarvis shots on goals are not showing up at any books? I don't think that's an injury issue. I don't know.
He's definitely not injured. He's definitely fine. And he was terrific in game 1 of this series. And when you look at Seth Jarvis, he's backed up while he's on the top line, especially here in these playoffs. Boston Bruins series, the 7 games there, and that first game against the Rangers. He's 8 playoff games for Seth Jarvis. He has 6 points. He's been fantastic, 3 goals, but more importantly, it's not only the goal scoring, it's the playmaking, the pass he made to Sebastian Aho. That's elite level talent and skill to make that pass in that kind of situation there with 2 minutes to go to set up that game-tying goal in game 1. He's been absolutely terrific. He's backed up Rod Brind'Amour's belief in him to put him on the top line. And you talk about the shots on goal prop for Seth Jarvis, 3 shots in each of the last 2 games. In fact, you go back and you look, he's had 3 or more shots on goal 4 of the last 5 games here in the playoffs for the Carolina Hurricanes. So, you know what? A lot of books, this is still early in the morning. A lot of books are, especially at playoff time, and especially because I think a lot of people are having success with these shots on goal player prop bets. And I think that's part of the thing too. They're going to hold out and delay posting them for as long as they can. You will see them, check back later in the day. I find some books wait till, 3-4 hours before puck drop, before you actually get the availability of those shots on goal player props. So keep checking throughout the day, but it's definitely not injury. He's fine. He'll be back on that top line tonight with Sebastian Aho and Andrei Svechnikov, where he belongs, because he's been absolutely dynamite on that top line for Rod Brind'Amour's team. The
more we talk about it, I think it's not a confidence-building loss for the Rangers. I think that it hurts them. And I think that Carolina wins this game 3-1 or 4-1 tonight.
Yeah, they know they were better for over 50 minutes. They were flat out better than Carolina, and they have nothing to show for it but a loss. That's tough.
Yeah, and they'll come back to MSG, and it'll be crazy. I love that these games are sold out. I love seeing, Fanatical Jim so excited for his first time at PNC Arena. You go back to when Brind'Amour won the Cup with these Hurricanes, and there was 400 people at an outdoor barbecue for the Stanley Cup parade. All right, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's move on to Game 2. West second round, Calgary leading the series 1-0. I legitimately thought about betting the Flames to sweep. That's how much better I think the Flames are than the Oilers. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll pull the trigger, but I'm going to go back to the well, the Flames -1, and I will go back to the well in Game 3. I will continue to bet this team that is so much deeper and better. Yes, McDavid is the best player in the NHL. I know we thought that Matthews might have been for 20 or 25 games, but yes, McDavid is that spectacular. It doesn't matter. The Flames have so many good players, and they're at home, and the Saddle Dome is rocking. And look, I don't really trust Markstrom that much, and I go back to remember who was in goal when the Canucks took out the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. It wasn't Jacob Markstrom. It was the Iron Lady, Patrick Demko. So playoffs right now, the Flames still have an 11.1% power play. That hasn't. Thank you, Jose, for. There she's waving. So Calgary scores 15 goals in the 7-game opening round series over Dallas, puts up 9 in game 1 against Mike Smith. I mean, just two completely different types of teams. Markstrom allowed 7 goals in their 7-game series before allowing 6 to the Oilers. I don't have that much. Markstrom's a good goalie. Don't get me wrong. Good goalie, but we'll see. He's going to have to turn it on. Richie Richmond's Edmonton team total over 2.5 all day, considering another max play here. Remember what team Marked Man used to play for. Look, Daryl Sutter versus Jay Woodcroft, forget about it. Forget about it. Sutter just is able to get everything he needs out of this hockey team. And I'm going right back to the well with the Calgary Flames -1. I got that at -112. There were better lines out there at other books. I unfortunately had to take this one. -175 on the money line, on the puck line +145. Take it away here, Babano, Oilers, Flames.
I'm leaning the other way, actually, to be quite honest with you. I'm leaning Edmonton, but I like the over for sure. I mean, that's definitely what I'm going to be. I'm not shying away from another high-scoring game. Are we going to get 9-6 like the other night? Probably not, but there are real offensive advantages. And Jay Woodcroft and the Oilers want to push this pace, all right? They want to get the puck moving north-south, and they want it to get moving as fast as possible. They don't want to get in a spot where Calgary can just set up and play 5-on-5 defense against the Oilers. It's kind of like that basketball analogy. Push the ball in transition, get the ball down the court before the defense can set up in the half court. That's essentially what the Oilers want to do. And I think they need to play that way because their pace-driven attack gave Calgary fits in game 1. And I'm noticing a very disturbing trend with the Calgary Flames. Very disturbing. They're not giving up many shots. They're not giving up many chances like they did against Dallas, like they did in game 1 against Edmonton. But what they're giving up is too high quality, too much high danger in what the Flames defense is allowing. You look at those shots. I mean, they didn't have as many, Edmonton, in game 1, just like Dallas didn't have as many in game 7. And Calgary dominated them in terms of shots. Same thing in game 6 against Dallas in the first round. But what they are giving up to Dallas in game 6, Dallas in game 7, Edmonton in game 1 is high quality with those few chances and few shots that they're allowing. Too much high quality. It's good to only give up, 10 shots or 15 shots or 20 shots after 2 periods. But when over half of those are just these grade A chances, you're playing with fire. And Dallas couldn't finish those chances. Why? Because they're not the greatest offensive team outside of Hintz and outside of Robertson and a couple of guys that can finish. Sagan should be capable of finishing, but in big games, not so much. And Ben, forget about it. Edmonton can finish those chances off much greater rate than Dallas can. So Calgary's got to clean some things up. And look, Jacob Markstrom was uncharacteristically awful in game 1. He was awful. There's no doubt. He was off the angle time and time again. Multiple goals that go in between the glove and the body. That can't happen. That's bad goaltending. Off the angle. He was not good in game 1. So you combine Markstrom's struggle. Markstrom, I'm sure, will be better. He has been a good bounce-back goalie. But what I don't like here is that Calgary, while they're not giving up a ton of shots and ton of chances in terms of volume, what they're giving up is too good. They're giving up the slot area. They're letting defensemen walk in from the point and to go right to the front of the net. I saw Heiskanen do that multiple times for Dallas. I'm seeing Darnell Nurse the other night walk around the defense like he's Bobby Orr and get right to the net. I'm seeing McDavid dangle his way and make some of these Calgary defensemen and some of these back-checking forwards look like fools out there. I mean, that's a problem. And Calgary is going to have offensive success against Edmonton, plain and simple. So I don't know where the firefight stops. Look, I don't expect 9-6 like game 1, but all you needed with over 6.5 years, give me a 4-3 game. Give me a 5-2 game. Give me a 5-3 game. and the game goes over the total. And I just think there's too many advantages with these two offenses at the moment to see anything otherwise. So lock me in, Jimmy. This is my one official play for the 2 games tonight in the NHL. Edmonton, Calgary over 6.5.
I get it. I get it. It does make me nervous just after a 15-goal game with some of the zigzag things that we see in NHL. I do not think Calgary will be so leaky defensively. Darryl Sutter just won't allow it. He's such a great coach. He won't allow it, in my estimation. I see a 6.5 here at minus 116. Now, Babano, did you give out picks on that Tuesday show with Loshak? Because I don't have those as part of your record. I didn't realize that had happened, so I'll have to get those.
Yeah, recalculate.
Okay.
But some of those were series bets, and some of those were like the Carolina Game 1 and series combo, which was plus 105. So obviously we wait until the playoffs are over until we grade that. So
I've got all those on Twitter, Jim. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, because I did get all yours from the big Friday slate, but I will add those. So I will remember to get those and add those to your records. Here we go. So over 6.5 for Babano. Over 6.5 at minus 116. If anybody can find a better line there, let me know. Richie Rich says we're not going to see zigzag. Look, by all means, I wouldn't get in the way of this. I'm just, not on it myself. And Darryl Sutter, he just won't allow Calgary to continue playing like that. And Draisaitl being hurt, and we don't know if Nurse is 100% healthy. We'll have to see all these things play out.
There are issues with the depth of that Oilers team. Well, they're not going to get anything from the third and the fourth line. I mean, forget it. Yes, Puljujärvi. No, we can't find him with a telescope. All right, on the ice right now, and that's the reason. That's the reason why he's been demoted. Actually, to the fourth line right now. He's getting to the point. Yes, Puljujärvi, where he's going to be not even in the lineup if this continues. I think Jay Woodcroft's at his wit's end with that guy. He's had absolutely outstanding talent and ability, and is just non-existent way too much. And yeah, I see him skating on the fourth line tonight for the Oilers. Of course, McDavid, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, Kane. It looks like they might be moving up Brian McLeod to the second line with Kane and Hyman, Archibald, Nugent Hopkins, Derek Ryan. So yeah, there's lots of options for the Oilers, no question about that. But when I look at the blue line, if Nurse is compromised, you've got Ceci. Ceci scores a big goal against LA, and they're talking about him like, wow, what a great defenseman this guy is. All of a sudden, forgetting that Ottawa and Toronto both casted him away. So keep that in mind. And Duncan Keith, obviously, I hate to say it, but you hate to see it. He's had such a great career, and he looks like a shell of himself. He was absolutely pitiful in some of those goals that Calgary scored in Game 1. Sad to see it for a guy that's had a Hall of Fame career. Evan Bouchard, is more offensive than defensive. Same with Tyson Barrie. Brett Kulak's just a depth defenseman they got from Montreal. I understand people picking apart this Edmonton blue line and saying, man, there's some concerns there. Because after Darnell Nurse, yeah, you could put a big fat question mark beside the other 5.
Well, I can't wait to watch it. I tell you that much. I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to be jumping on the Razor Sharp Picks horse racing stream as well to talk a little bit about the Preakness, but I will be grinding horses all night.
That's also why I think the Oilers need to push the pace too. They realize all their forwards are more offensive minded. They realize all their defensemen are more offensive minded. You're not going to be able to play. You're not going to be able to play Calgary's game. You can't play a little slow down, lockdown, low scoring, tight checking game, Edmonton. You got to open it up and see if you can outscore them. And look, damn it, it almost worked, in Game 1 because they got that game back to 6-6 early in the third period before Calgary turned. I think Edmonton's got to realize, hey, push the pace and open this thing up is going to be our best chance.
Yeah, no, the angle and the breakdown all makes sense to me. I'm going to stick with my plan, but I will be cheering you on. Under 5.5 at minus 115 for me. I'm going to add the Hurricanes -1. Babano's on the over 6.5 in Oilers Flames. You got that minus 116 at Pinnacle. I'm on the Flames -1. There you have it. It is time to move on to MLB. And Babano, I was even impressed.
Why don't you tell the viewers and listeners my record with that?
Well, no, Babano, don't sell yourself short, though. You got off to a terrible start. So I'm actually quite impressed with your record. You started out with going 1-9. Going 1-9.
Oh yeah, that
okay?
first Friday was an abomination. I remember it. Yeah, for baseball.
1-9, and now you're 20-20. Now this does not include the Tuesday games that I'll get from Jose, but that's a very impressive.
No, actually, no MLB with Jose and Peter on Tuesday. I was only on for NHL on Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I was very impressed. I'm very impressed with this turnaround. That's not an easy turnaround to make. We all have been in a situation where we'll win 1 of 10 bets, and it can weigh heavy on you. And you kept firing and firing away. So I'm very impressed with what you've done here. So overall, you're 20-20. You're down 2.44 units. You have an average line of -106. And your ROI -6.10%. But
sounds about right. I think that's where my full season is right now. It's like -1 or -2 units. It's right around that. So that's right in line with my full season overall. So makes sense.
Yeah, I have enormous respect, and that's one of the. I mean, when you see, you're like, would you take 20-20 down 2.44 units after 40 games? The answer is probably no. We wouldn't take it. But would you take it after going 1-9? You'd be like, yes. Yes.
And I did have a nice baseball day yesterday. Very nice. White Sox Royals over. Cards Mets over. We had the Arizona Diamondbacks first 5 in full game with our guy Zach Gallen. I said, invest in a gallon of his pitches, not a gallon of gas right now. It's the better investment right now.
Billy Friedrich found that 6.5 at -105 at Bet Online. That's not what you would expect this number to be doing. Let's just, I know we don't talk about it in NHL, but let's just take a look at the total here. So we have 66% of tickets on the over and 57% of cash. So there are some big bets coming on at under, and it's very interesting. Jeffrey Moore, that was the best I could find too, but thank you for looking there over at Bet Online. We also have Ron Crawford. Spreadsheet play today is on the Cubs. Spreadsheet play today is on the Cubs. I'm going to copy and paste that right now here and get it rolling. Let's talk about this spot right off the hop. 2:20 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 19-21, 9-10 on the road. Much better than we expected. At the Chicago Cubs 15-22, 6-13 at home. We're at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. A lot of talk about the weather here in this game. I'm going to refresh it as it changes so quickly here in Chicago. So I'm just going to refresh my weather report, and this is where we stand. We have the wind blowing out very, very heavy, but a little less than was 2 hours ago. I don't know exactly what that means, really. I don't think it's going to go down too much more, but it's down. It's now 20.4 miles per hour out to left center, basically center. Goes up to 22.1, comes back to 21.1. And it starts dying off later in the game. Gets down to 17.3 by 6 p.m. So that is the weather situation. Let's move over to the line history in this spot quickly. Sorry, make a move. Here we go. And Castellanos, Hendricks. Everybody is on the under at this point. And not Trenton Claxton. He's on the over 11. And we talked a lot about the wind. And look at Julian Cesaro making a big bet, $500 on the Cubs money line. There has been some movement towards the Diamondbacks, but it's come back each time. So it's exactly where it opened. Plus 120 for the Diamondbacks, minus 140. The total opened up at 11, went up to 11.5 at 9 a.m., back to 11, and then 20 minutes ago went back to 11.5, and it's juiced to the under. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, 4,968 tickets in. 69% of the tickets and 84% of the cash is on the Chicago Cubs. It's a lot of money and tickets on the Cubs for the line not to be moving towards them. 56% of tickets and 67% of cash on the under. Eric Jones leaning to the under. Humberto Castellanos, 2-1. So both of these pitchers faced the opposition last out, and both pitchers looked good in that situation. Castellanos went 5 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 solo shots, 5 Ks, 1 walk. He's a 4.15 ERA and 1.19 WHIP on the year. Hendricks went 5 2/3. It was a different game. 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-2 win. He has gone 44 2/3 with 32 Ks, 15 walks, 1.25 WHIP. Both teams struggle versus righties. Diamondbacks 207, 656 OPS. The Cubs 228, 663 OPS. Cubs bullpen has been very good. 3 ERA, 1.16 whip, converted 10 of 14 save opportunities, while the Diamondbacks bullpen 4.61 ERA, 1.37 whip, has converted 13 of 18 save opportunities. Shine some light on this game for us, Babano. A lot of people liking the under. Slap that ass play of the day is on the under. Take it away, Diamondbacks, Cubs.
Yeah, it is. And both of these pitchers actually overall for the year have pretty good numbers, especially, of late. I mean, both pitchers, the last 3 starts have been very good. This feels like it's an over situation for me, but the total's 11, and I know it's because of the wind blowing out at Wrigley. You're going to get 10.5, 11, 11.5 with totals at Wrigley Field anytime the wind's blowing out. I understand that. And that's why this total's where it is. I get it. But and it does feel like an over situation because I like that when there's 2 pitchers facing the other lineup for the second time in a week, which is what we've got here, and they pitch well the first time. Much of the time we see in the second meeting, the hitters make their adjustments. However, we're talking 11 as far as this total goes. That's something you have to keep in mind. And another thing you have to consider here is it's not like either of these lineups is crushing the ball right now. Last 2 games, the Cubs have scored a grand total of 3 runs. The last 2 games, or 3 games rather, the Diamondbacks have scored a total of 9 runs. Just 3 games in each game. The last 2 against the Dodgers and then the 3-1 win last night. So these are lineups that aren't in greatest of form. So it's really one of those games where it's just a long-term, for me, it's an over situational bet when you got the same 2 pitchers facing the same lineup in a week, and especially when they have success the first time. A lot of times hitters make their adjustments, and it's a much different story. And Castellanos is one of those pitchers, too, where I could really see him struggling with the wind blowing out. He does sometimes give up that fly ball contact, and that could travel a little bit here today at Wrigley. But and again, I understand liking the Cubs. Kyle Hendricks, long-term, his whole career, he's been better at Wrigley than on the road. No question about that. He's got good home numbers this year. But you're talking minus 140, and you're talking an Arizona team that all I've done is cash some tickets with them. I think they've been one of the more undervalued teams in baseball because, look, are they a great team? No, they're 2 games below 500, but they're still playing much better baseball than a lot of people thought. A lot of people had them 10, 15 below 500. They were just going to be this absolutely pitiful team when, their offense has come to life a little bit. Dalton Varsho, in particular, has been really good at the plate lately, and they've got some pretty solid pitch. Mad Bum for now. I don't trust Mad Bum for a full season, but right now he's pitching well, and especially the 2 pitchers I've been backing routinely this year, Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. Those 2 pitchers are pretty solid. They're having very good years. So to me, I know Hendricks is probably the more trustworthy pitcher in this matchup. You got him at home. But it's minus 140. And the Cubs aren't playing great baseball. In fact, Arizona's got the better record. So it's one of those games. It's conflicting arguments. I think the value's with Arizona, and I could only look over, but I'm not going to end up pulling the trigger on either one.
Nor am I. I've made 4 bets before we get rolling. I'm going to be able to get a lot more action out before the show starts now that the NHL and NBA load of games is decreasing. I can get all my work done and have some time to spare. So I agree. I'm not going to let the weather dictate a bet here. And I talked about the wind blowing out yesterday at 10 or 11. I was like, that's not that big of a deal at Wrigley. I know it helps offense, but I'm like, it's not. But now, and I was like, what if it's 20? We talk about
and
it.
That's
now
an excellent point. That's an excellent point. When you see the wind blowing out, but it's 5-10 miles per hour, it's not really much of a deal. What you want to really be concerned about or aware of is when you see wind blowing out, we're talking 25, 30 miles per hour. That's when it really can make a significant impact on the game and obviously the ball carrying out of the yard.
And we have information that no Ketel Marte in the lineup. Let's see if I can just pull up these lineups quickly before we go. This is the lone afternoon game. Another thing is in my past, we talk about, as we cap together, we try to fix the mistakes that we make and how do we be a better capper. I've always had a penchant for trying to have action on an afternoon game.
Well, I can give you the lineups, Jimmy. Here we go. I'll give them to you right now.
Take it away.
Dalton Varsho leading off. Geraldo Perdomo batting second for the Diamondbacks. Josh Rojas, third base, batting third. First base, Christian Walker batting cleanup. David Peralta, left field, batting fifth. Batting 6th, the right fielder, Jake McCarthy. Hitting in 7th, the center fielder, Alec Thomas. Batting 8th, the second baseman, Yanni Hernandez. And hitting 9th, the catcher, Grayson Griner. So that's for Arizona. For the Chicago Cubs, batting leadoff, Rafael Ortega, the right fielder. Batting 2nd, the catcher, Wilson Contreras. Hitting 3rd, the left fielder, Ian Happ. Hitting cleanup, the DH, Frank Schwindel. Batting 5th, the first baseman, Alfonso Rivas. Batting 6th, the third baseman, Patrick Wisdom. Second baseman, batting 7th, Jonathan Villar. Center fielder, Christopher Morel, batting 8th. And hitting 9th for the Cubs, shortstop, Itamaro Vargas. There we go.
Yeah, I'm off of it. Ashram Mendez says, don't know how you took the Royals over the Sox yesterday. Shake my head. Ashram Mendez, I cashed and won. And so did Big Ragu on the Royals first 5. So maybe you should continue shaking your head. Shake the shit out of that fucking head of yours. Okay, let's move on. Game 2 on the card, 6:35 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals, 20-18, 10-10 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 16-21, 9-10 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's go to the weather first and foremost here. And I almost moved, expecting a nice start from Zach Thompson. After seeing Wainwright have a better road start, I question him often on the road. I came close to moving on the under, but I saw the market moving quickly to the over. 80 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 8.3 miles per hour, right to left, slightly out. Very slightly out. Goes down to 5.9. Goes down to 4.2 miles per hour. We have Julian Cesario on the Cards money line. And C. James says that Diamondbacks Cubs total is back down to 11. Wainwright versus Zach Thompson. Let's take a look at the line history here in this spot. We have it opening up with the Cards minus 145, a 5-cent move 2 hours after it opened. So it opened yesterday at 3:18 p.m. 2 hours after it moved, opened 5-cent move. Nothing much. Total-wise, there's been a ton of movement. Opened up at 8, moved to 8.5 this morning at 8:06, and then at 10:19 it moved to 9, and it keeps getting bet towards the over. That 9 is now minus 115 to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this spot. 8,234 tickets in, 82% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on the Cardinals, and yet a 5-cent move and no move at all today. Then a 45% of the tickets on the over and 77% of cash on the over. So big bets clearly have come in on the over. D. Jenkins says, why aren't the Cards huge favorites here? And Mike M says, it feels trappy. St. Louis line is dropping, but all the loot on the Cards. Sharpie says, why is this game only minus 150? Wainwright versus the Pirates. He's allowed 1 run in his last 5 starts versus the Pirates. 5 quality starts. And Eric Jones sees an 8 here. If you see an 8, Eric Jones, and that's available to bet, I would bet the over because you have a 1 full run of value. It's 9 everywhere else. Wainwright, 4-3, 3.15 ERA, 1.23 whip, 40 innings, 33 Ks, 15 walks, and 3 homers. Last out, he was good. 15-6 win at home versus the Giants. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. And his last road start was good. And you already heard Sharpie talk about how good he's been against these Pirates. Piker says under. Pittsburgh scored 3 runs in 3 games. They're facing a rolling Wainwright. St. Louis not crushing it either. Thompson off 2 solid starts. Get a juice 9. Why could it be 9? Why, and how? Zach Thompson last start was excellent at home versus the Reds. 6 innings, 1 hit, no one runs, 3 Ks, 3 walks. Cards are hitting just 244, 686 OPS versus righties. Pirates are even worse than that. 224, 639 OPS. Cards bullpen has been getting worse as the season's gone on. 3.73 ERA, 1.28 whip have converted 8 of 11. The Pirates bullpen 4.15 ERA, 1.30 whip have converted 11 of 15. Take it away here, Babano. Cardinals, Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mystified, and sometimes when you see a line like this and there's no movement whatsoever, and you see just to put it in perspective how Adam Wainwright has completely owned and treated the Pirates like his bitch over the years. They're hitting 112 as a team lifetime against Wainwright. I mean, that is, you talk about dominance right there. That is absolutely spectacular. And look, he's completely owned this Pirates team. He's having a good start to the year as well. You look at Wainwright's last few starts, he's given up a grand total of just 5 runs. 7 hits in his last 19 innings of work against Arizona, Kansas City, and San Francisco. He's pitched extremely well. I cashed a ticket with him as a home dog Sunday Night Baseball last weekend against San Francisco. I couldn't believe he was getting that good of a price at home. Busch Stadium, pitches well there against. I know the Giants are a solid team, but that was great value. I'm going to be backing Wainwright here. I mean, I don't really care too much about the suspicious look, I guess, if you will, of this line and this price with where it is. The fact it hasn't moved a whole lot. So I'm going to do a first half and a full game split. For a little bit more value, I'm going to go with the -0.5 with the Cardinals here in the first 5 innings. -0.5 at -105 looks to be the best price out there with that. Let me just confirm that. I like that in the first 5, and even more so splitting it up, and also be on the full game money line as well. So it's going to be one of those split bets, but instead of a first 5 full game money line split, it's going to be a first 5 -0.5 run line for me, and then the money line for me in the full game with the Cardinals. And it looks like with the -0.5, actually we'll use -102, Jimmy, at Pinnacle. -0.5, -102 at Pinnacle. Perfect. For St. Louis Cardinals first 5, -0.5, -102, and we'll go with the full game money line as well, which is right now. Let me just take a look. -141 looks to be the best.
I got -140 here at
Pinnacle.
Let's just see if Circa can beat it quickly here.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I like both. I mean, and look, Thompson's still trying to get consistent, and I got to see it more before I buy into him. I mean, 5.47 ERA. I know the last start was good against the Reds, but Reds are one of those up and down lineups. And actually, last 2 starts from 11 innings, he hasn't given up a run. His last 2 starts, both against the Reds, though. So let's see how he does against a different team, because let's not forget before that, 6 runs in 4 innings to the Brew Crew, 9 runs in that 21-0 abomination to the Cubs, 4 runs in just 4.1 innings to the Padres. You know what I mean? I got to see more out of Zach Thompson. And this track record of Wainwright against the Pirates is just too dazzling to ignore. I mean, we talked about they're hitting barely 100 as a team against him lifetime. And Wainwright against the Pirates, he's only 9-0 in his last 9 starts. The Cardinals are only 9-0 in Wainwright's last 9 starts against the Pirates. So all things considered, this is a perfectly reasonable price. So St. Louis first 5 run line and full game money line for me.
Sharpies on the Pirates team total under 4 -125 says take out if the Seattle bats are slow, or sorry, the St. Louis bats are slow from the travel spot.
Then we have the travel spot though. Day game yesterday, day game, not a night game, a day game yesterday against the Mets to a night game tonight. So it's not as bad travel spot because of that.
That helps without a doubt. JPG says this is one of those bets that you pass on because the line is suspicious, and then the team you like wins, no problem, and you're pissed. That could happen to me here, and it wouldn't be the team, it would be the total going under that I would be upset. And Taint is in. We have Taint action here as well. The Taint play of the day is correlated with Babano's action. So we have Taint in business. Taint, baby, Taint. All right, we roll on. Cheshire Cat says, I didn't know Ian was on today. Every Friday since February 18th. Babano has graced our screen.
Where have you been, my friend? You're supposed to know that. You watch everything I do, so you got to know that.
Come on, baby.
Come on,
except
Cheshire
for the
Cat.
one. Yeah, except for that one.
Thanks for joining us.
Kentucky Oaks Day. Okay, there we go. Babano's doubled up cards. First 5 -0.5 -102, and the full game -139. Let's roll on. This is another spot that I thought was suspicious that I came close to moving on Trevor Rogers and the Marlins. Let's talk about it. Atlanta Braves, 17-21, 7-10 on the road at the Marlins, 17-20, 9-10 at home. We're at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Charlie Morton going up against Trevor Rogers. Let's start with the line history in this spot because it was very strange. Miami is now, I guess it was the total that threw me for the loop here. going towards the under. I guess this is not a big. I don't know why I got so uncomfortable here. The line has only moved 10 cents, so it's moved from -130 to -120 for the Braves. That makes sense to me. I don't know why I got scared off looking at this. The total has moved down to 7, from 7.5 down to 7. Eric Jones already got the under 7.5. And JPZ says, I'm going full Babano, first 5 full game split. Sharpie says this Miami lineup is different without Soler in it. He's been having back issues. Viper says lean fish. They've been hitting. I don't know why I got scared off of Trevor Rogers now when I only see a 10-cent move. Oh, I remember now. It was the batter versus pitcher stats. Okay, I'll bring those up. Sorry. That was it. Charlie Morton, last out, was a nice start. Look, he's not had a good year. 2-3, 4.93 ERA, 1.44 WHIP, 32 Ks and 34 2/3. Last out, he went 6 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 9 Ks and 1 walks, and 6-5 win at home over the Padres. Trevor Rogers is pitching well right now. 9-3 win at home in his last start versus the Brewers. He went 5 1/3, allowed 5 hits, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, no walks. 4.45 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. He got out of the gates poorly, but he's pitching well of late. Braves are only hitting 219, 684 OPS versus lefties. Marlins versus righties, 255, 737 OPS, and both bullpens have been very good, except the back end of the Braves bullpen has not. They have a 3.38 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, but they've only converted 11 of 18 save opportunities. So here we go. 5,308 tickets in. You have 35% of the tickets, 57% of the cash on Miami. Maybe I should just move on Miami. I'm surprised I didn't pull the trigger. Total-wise, 54% of tickets on the under and 45% of cash on the under, but it has moved a half run. Let me just pull up what concerned me here and go over that quickly before I hand it over to Babano. We have against Rogers, Dansby Swanson hitting .571, just 7 at-bats, and the only person with a homer is Ronald Acuna. He's hitting .333 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Ozzie Albies hitting .333 and 12 at-bats. So those big bats, the Travis d'Arnaud hitting .333. So those big bats did concern me. And only Jazz has hit Morton. And nobody else has an average over the 235 that Miguel Rojas has. So that slowed me down a little bit. Let's hear what Babano has to say here. Braves, Marlins, take it away.
I actually lean over a little bit here in this game right now, especially with where the total is. I mean, I don't trust old man Morton, 7 ERA on the road. He actually hasn't been that bad against the Marlins, but something's not quite there with him this year. It's been up and down for him. Trevor Rogers was rocked at home twice, but he also pitched a whole lot better his last start in this ballpark against Milwaukee. That was more like it. From Rogers. He was very good against a pretty good Brewers team, pretty good Brewers lineup there. 1 run allowed, got into the 6th inning. He was much better in that game, no question about that. But now with this total, it's a flat 7, across the board here with these two, it's been up and down for both of them. Even Trevor Rogers, it's been some good, some bad. You could say the same thing about Morton. Morton better in his last 2 starts, but he's had some rough times this year, and really, you look at it, Rogers had those 2 awful home starts against the Diamondbacks. I think it was the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. I mean, Phillies hit him for 7 runs in just 2 innings back on April 16th, and then May 3rd was that game. I remember that Arizona game. I was stunned he pitched so poorly. 5 runs, 6 hits, 4.1 innings, 2 home runs. Yet both pitchers have pitched gems in the last 2 starts. So I understand, people liking the under that, hey, maybe they figured it out. Maybe Morton's figured it out. His last 2 starts have been very good. Same with Trevor Rogers. His last 2 starts have been very good. But you've got a total of 7. I'm not making anything official here. I lean Miami. I lean over. I think I trust Rogers a little bit more than Morton, especially these Marlins pitchers when they're in their home ballpark. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because I think they've got a decent staff. So lean over, lean Miami. Not going to get there. Not sure I'll get there with either one.
Yeah, I'm not going to get there with either one. I wonder if that first 5 should have been a look. It's at 3.5 right now. I wouldn't say these are 3.5 studs. Matty Ice says first 5 over 3.5 is a lean for me. He says easy to see someone getting to 3. No movement.
There's just too much volatility with these 2 pitchers for me to take under at a number of 7. I certainly am not doing that. I am leaning hard on this over, but I'm gonna just pump the brakes for now. Well, I want to see these lineups too. Who's going to be in?
Sharpie saying Atlanta 33% K rate last 15 days versus left-handed pitching. Says Rogers K prop is live today, and don't forget every day Sharpie rocks.
Well, I trust Rogers more at home than Morton on the road right now. Definitely.
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. Sharpie every day 3:10 p.m. Eastern, 12:10.
Yep,
Pacific.
check them out. Great show.
Yep. Great show. All right, let's roll on. No action from either Babano or myself. We move on to a very interesting game. Everybody knows how much I want to fade Dallas Keuchel. I was very fortunate that I was on vacation and taking a little breather from the rigors of capping MLB in Keuchel's last start, because he went up against the Yankees. Yankees are hitting 238, 742 OPS versus lefties. We remember what the White Sox did to lefties last year.
Befuddled them. I remember that game because I was on the Yankees that night.
As I would have been. I would have been in the exact same situation, and I was very thankful not to have been there. Keuchel 2-3, 5.54 ERA, 1.96 WHIP. I want to fade him, seeing this lineup a second time, but I got some cold feet when I looked at how big of a favorite Nestor Cortes and the Yankees are. And look, I love Cortes. I've loved him all year last year. Well, he didn't play the whole season, but when he came up last year with his mustache and he's a little bulldog on the mound, and I know there's some tweets that have come out that make him look bad, but he was 17 years old. There's still no excuse for those tweets, and I don't think they'll get in his head too much. He just seems like he's on point, but it was just too expensive. The first 5 -1 was going to be juiced. There's going to be vig on it. I was going to have to take the run line here, and I know that Timmy Anderson and some of these White Sox really love the opportunity to play in the Bronx. So I settled for what I thought was the best for my cash, and that was Yankees score first. I'm on the Yankees score first. I got that bet 365 -125. This is the first bet that I made today. Let's quickly talk about the weather, the situation, and then hand it over to our guy, Babano. We have these Yankees first, and there's rain in the forecast. Rain in the forecast, but it doesn't say possible weather delay or rain out, which is surprising. But we have rain in the forecast. 64 Fahrenheit at opening pitch, 8.5 mile per hour right to left across the diamond, and it sort of dies out. But the rain is supposed to come in at 8 p.m., and it's not supposed to be there for very long. But rain is going to be an issue at some point. And the White Sox bullpen's been bad this year. We thought it was going to be lights out. It's been bad. So maybe that doesn't hurt me too bad. Let's talk about the line history in this spot. We have the Yankees opening up at -192. They were up at -210 when I could have bet them. They moved to -210 at 4:10 a.m. It wasn't until 7:30 a.m. that they moved to -220, and at 9:14 a.m. -225. These are at bet 365. This total opened up at 8.5. It was initially juiced to the over. It came back to a pick'em. Now juiced to the over again at -120. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, we have 7,906 tickets in. 83% of the tickets and 95% of the cash is on the Yankees. 53% of tickets, 62% of cash is on the under. Cortes coming off, both of these pitchers just saw their opponents, as mentioned with Keuchel, in different games. Cortes went 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 7 Ks, no walks, and 5-1 win at the White Sox. White Sox versus lefties, just a few percentage points of OPS below the Yankees, but a higher batting average. And as I said, Yankees bullpen dominant. White Sox bullpen has been poor. And Piker says Keuchel just faced them, way overperformed. They're familiar with him. Stanton with a couple bombs off him. Donaldson, Judge, Yanks coming off a loss. He's on the run line at -110. I'm on the Yankees to score first. How are you betting this game, Babano? Take it away. White Sox, Yankees.
Side and total. I'm on Yankees -0.5. First 5, and I got that at let me just see here we go. First 5 -0.5 is -136. Pinnacle -0.5 -136. First 5 Yankees, and I like over 8.5. In fact, I like the total even more than the side. Over 8.5 here with the White Sox and the Yankees. This is your classic situation. I mean, the White Sox just saw Cortes, and of course the Yankees just saw Keuchel. And look, Cortes against the Yankees or against the White Sox pitched well. Keuchel against the Yankees pitched well, which was shocking to me. I couldn't believe Keuchel. But they did have chances. They left the bases loaded once in one inning. They had a couple runners on in the third inning that night against Keuchel, and they just couldn't get that big hit with runners in scoring position. I think you're going to see a different story tonight. The total's very reasonable here, 8.5. And I think the Yankees will get to Keuchel this time around. I'm not buying into him pitching that well again against this Yankees team. Keep in mind, this is a guy that still, when you look at his numbers overall this year, they're just not very good overall. He struggled, and I think that's probably going to continue here. Of course, he's had some of these awful outings this year. The Angels start was bad. The Cleveland start was bad. And in the other starts, even the Boston start, he gave up 2 runs in 6 innings. But guess what? He was flirting with danger that whole game. 8 hits allowed in 6 innings. So he's playing with fire. He's given up hard hit contact rate. I think definitely that's going to continue here. The Yankees will make their adjustments. But remember, as good as Nestor Cortez has been for the Yankees this year, he is a lefty. And we know the White Sox this year, last year, 2 years ago, they're pretty good, and they usually mash left-handed pitching. So I would expect them to get their good share of looks and a good at-bats tonight, ABs against Nestor Cortez. Even though he's been impressive, I think the White Sox get some runs of their own as well. So, yeah, I like the Yankees to have a lead after the first 5. I still like that. I still got to give Cortez a little bit of an edge over Keuchel. But I really like the over 8.5. In fact, the total is probably one of my favorite plays on the board today. Over 8.5, which you can get right now at -115.
We found it at -1. Billy Friedrich, our guy Billy, found it -108 over a bookmaker. So we locked you in there. Yep. Over 8.5 at -108. I get it. I completely get it. I'm just going to focus solely on the Yankees scoring first. I could easily double up on that first 5 -1/2. By the way, Babano, I put 500 on the White Sox yesterday to win the division at -140, and I can't believe I'm getting that number. I can't believe it. I just think this is such a great opportunity that only is given to the cappers who cap every day.
We know you don't win divisions in May, and by May 20th, you know that. We know that. If anyone's watched baseball enough in their lifetime, you know you don't win a division in the first 2 months of the year. And we know there's talent on this White Sox team. And when you measure their overall roster with Cleveland, with Detroit, with Kansas City, with Minnesota, with everybody in that division, if they put a run together, that ticket is suddenly very live. So,
I loved it. I couldn't believe it. There were such enormous favorites before the season started, and I can get it now. So I jumped at it. I'm not going to double up here, but I could. I'd be curious to see what I would get if I moved on it here at Bet365. Let me just look very quickly. We were going to be moving on here shortly, but if I moved on it with you, -150. It was -140 this morning when I looked at it. Piker, it's not that the Yankees are going to concede, it's that they're going to get injured. That's all. They're going to get hurt. When was the last time Stanton was on this kind of a home run pace and played the whole season? We got to go back to 2016. You're going to play Judge in center field for 60 games? We already know what Donaldson's going to do. I mean, he's going to. When is he going to strain his calf muscle and be out for 3 months? So I'm very comfortable with the division spot, and I know. I mean, look, the Jays are going to heat up. They've had a very tough opening schedule, and I think that they'll be hedging opportunities. And again, I only put 200 on each, so I'm not that on the AL and the World Series and the division. I'm very, very, very comfortable with my situation here. Okay, so we have Babano on the Yankees first 5 -1/2 -136. The over 8.5 at -108. No, in fact, I take that back. It was -150 when I was looking at it, because I could have had the -1.5 was +120. So I was going to have to take a -1 line that was juiced, and that was the reason. I see even Bo Jackson. I mean, Bo Jackson, he played for them. So he says season's still early, boys. We got Vinny in the house. All right, let's move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 25-12, 10-7 on the road. The Philadelphia Phillies 18-20, 10-11 at home. Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was very excited about getting the opportunity to cap this game with all of you. Let's talk about it. First, we'll talk about the weather in Philly. 81 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 10 miles per hour out to left center, but then the wind changes pretty drastically and it becomes right to left, and it dies down to 7.7, and then it dies down to 4.9. So that opening wind is not there for very long, but if you watch the way Phillies have been hitting lefties, it will help them early. Let's go over to the line history. And as I said, I made 4 bets on this card before the day started, and this is not one of them. Dodgers opened up minus 145. They take 5 cents of action in the last night, and then it comes back 10 cents this morning. So from the opening line, there's been a 5-cent move towards the Philadelphia Phillies. And from a total standpoint, open up at 9 juice to the under at minus 120. It's now 9 at minus 125. So more juice towards this under. Julio Urias, a very good pitcher who got hit hard at home versus this lineup last week. 6 innings, 8 hits, 8 runs, 5 of which were earned, 4 homers, 3 Ks, no walks. But he's got a 1.14 whip on the year, but now he's allowed 7 home runs in 36 innings. Ranger Suarez, we talked a lot about him not having the movement that he had last year. There were some cappers that follow him closely that say that he's not a pitcher that needs that much movement. And he's looked better of late, but still 3.72 ERA, 1.3 whip. We remember him when he came up last year. We're talking about a 1 ERA, and he was unhittable at home. And his last start was at the Dodgers, 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk. Dodgers versus lefties, 232, 686 OPS. Phillies versus lefties, 256, 771 OPS. Dodgers bullpen being very good, 3.22 ERA, 1.05 whip, converted 9 of 11. And the Phillies bullpen has been bad as usual, 4.24 ERA, 1.37 whip, have converted 10 of 17 save opportunities. And we'll take one look at the cash in the spot, 5,989 tickets in. 25% of the tickets and 42% of the cash is on the Phillies. And there's been a 5-cent move towards them. Then 60% of tickets on the over, 68% of cash on the over. Babano, you've already talked about when a pitcher has a good start against an opponent, meets them 5 days later. Now we have the opposite. Take it away. Can't wait to hear your breakdown. Phillies, Dodgers.
Yeah, this is a tricky game. I like the Dodgers, at least situationally here. They have a day off, obviously following their homestand, which they played Philly, of course, and they lost 3 of 4 to Philly, and they were fortunate to pull out the last game because they fell behind in the last game on Sunday as well, and rescued it late with a 5-4 win. They came back, they swept the Diamondbacks in 4 straight after that to get the wins there, and now they are playing this series here against the Phillies here tonight. We'll see how it goes, and a day off to at least go from LA to Philly, which helps. Whereas the Phillies played yesterday, lost 2-0 to the Padres. Another great start from Darvish there, and shout out to Dabby Cab. I know he liked the Padres yesterday in that game. I think situationally, I like the Dodgers a little bit. I mean, they almost got swept. That close to a 4-game sweep at home against the Phillies. I think they want to have a better series this weekend, and I think Urias here is probably going to want to pitch a little bit better. His road numbers aren't bad, actually, 3.5. Or 3.32 rather, ERA on the road this year. Dodgers are only 1-3 in his 4 road starts. And look, Ranger Suarez, he's been much I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop for him, but he finds ways to get outs. He finds ways to pitch, 6 innings and give up, usually in most starts 3 runs at the most. He's done a remarkable job in that regard for the Philadelphia Phillies. You got to tip the cap to him. I don't always trust the LA Dodgers against lefty pitching as well. That's something else that bothers me. But I just, from a situational standpoint, I like it for the Dodgers. A day off to start the road trip, which helps them flying from the West Coast. They almost got embarrassed and swept in 4 straight by them. I think Urias is still a good enough arm to want to make amends for that terrible start he had against the Phillies. I'm definitely leaning Dodgers. I might even add it later today. As of right now, though, I'm going to pass. I'm going to not make it official, but I do lean to the Dodgers here.
Very important points that Sharpie's making here, based around the idea that no Harper, no bueno for this squad.
That's a big guy to have out of your lineup if you're the Phillies, just because of what he's meant to that lineup.
Yeah. So, and then if, expect Urias to have a much better start. And Sharpie saying it was an error in the first. That was the end of his day.
Kind of unraveled. Yep, that's true. Sometimes it's not, that one play that's not even the pitcher's fault, and then the pitcher can't get the train back on the tracks after that. It happens a lot in Major League Baseball, and it definitely happened with Urias that day.
I wonder if that I'm not going to move on it. There's lots of opportunities on this board. Razor Sharp Picks in the houses. What up, Jimmy Ian in the chat? Nice $300 prop play winner given out here on the show yesterday. Let's do it again today. Yes, a thing of beauty. Jimmy Butler over 33.5 points and rebounds, and Razor cashed that in the third quarter. Great work, Razor. And I can't wait. Can't wait to jump on your show tonight. Won't be able to be on for very long. Maybe a quick shot, and we'll talk a little Preakness, but because I got so much work to do, so many tracks to cap. But tonight, Cash It Fridays with Razor Sharp Picks. Okay, let's move on. Nothing from Ian or myself. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Tampa Bay Rays at Baltimore Orioles. Rays are 23-15, 10-6 on the road at the Orioles, who are 15-24, 10-10 at home at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. We have Jalen Beeks opening it up, and we have Yarbrough, I believe, as the primary, Ryan Yarbrough. We'll go over all that here shortly, but let's start with the weather in Baltimore. 88 Fahrenheit at opening pitch. Nice and warm. Feels like 91. 8.5 miles per hour out to left field, and that dies down throughout the game, down to 5.6, and then down to 3.0 after 2 hours into this one. Julian Cesario is on the Rays money line, and the team total over 4.5. 4.5. Let's take a look at the line movement here, line history in the Rays game. Beeks versus Wells. We have 25-cent move to the Baltimore Orioles, and that stopped me in my tracks. I like betting the Rays. For whatever reason, I just and I would love to go over my numbers and see if the ROI is okay. I haven't done that, but Orioles opened up at plus 135, and now they're plus 110. A 25-cent move towards the Baltimore Orioles. Then the total opening up at 8.5 is now up to 9, so it's moved up a half run. So let's see if the money's on the Orioles and the money's on the over. Let's see if that all correlates here. Baltimore, Tampa. We have 8,952 tickets in, second to only the St. Louis-Pittsburgh game, and we have 85% of the tickets, 84% of the cash on the Tampa Bay Rays, and yet the books are making it more appealing to bet them. Red flag for me. 55% of tickets on the under, just 36% of the cash. So bets have come in on the over. That's telling me that the market expects runs from the Orioles. So maybe we should look at the Orioles team total here. Tyler Wells on the bump for the Orioles. 1-3, 4.18 ERA, 1.25 whip, 19 Ks, just 4 walks. His last start was at the Tigers. He went 4 innings, didn't look very good. 8 hits, 3 earned runs, a homer, 2 Ks. The Rays are hitting just 235, 686 OPS versus righties. The Orioles are even worse versus lefties, but that doesn't make a ton of sense. We've seen this Orioles team smash lefties in the past. They're just not doing it in the small sample size thus far. 219, 619 OPS, and both bullpens have been very good. We expected the Rays bullpen to be good. 3.44 ERA, 1.808 whip, 11 of 17 converted save opportunities. But the Orioles bullpen's been awesome. Who would have thought that? 3.35 ERA, 1.23 whip, have converted 7 of 10 save opportunities. Jalen Beeks has been very strong. He's only had 1 appearance where he got touched. Other than that, he's been lights out. Very interesting to hear your breakdown here. Babano, Rays, Orioles, take it away.
I lean Rays for sure. I mean, whenever you're seeing them minus 125 to minus 130 against Baltimore, you got to lean that way. And Beeks has been good. He has been. Wells has been oddly enough very good here at Camden Yards. He's got a 1.2 ERA at home this year. So that's the tricky part here. And yet, you know, there are some things that are a little bit of a concern, I guess you could say, for both of these pitchers. You look at Tyler Wells in particular, you know, and you talked about how his last start was a little bit rough. That's definitely something to keep in mind. But, you know, he does have a higher FIP. He does have a higher xFIP than that 3.56 xERA. So that tells you that he's kind of, you know, maybe not regressed, but, you know, maybe there's some bad starts along the way. He's probably, you know, not pitching as well as that overall ERA would indicate for the Orioles. Whereas you look at the ERA of Jalen Beeks, 1.72. His xERA and his FIP and his xFIP are a little bit higher, but they're still a very solid 2.66 with his xFIP. His xERA is 3.01, which is still solid, which is certainly better than Tyler Wells. So, you know, I just think when you look at it here, I lean a little bit here toward the Rays. But Baltimore's scrappy. Baltimore had a nice win against the Yankees. So it's just something about, you're right, something about this game's very off-putting, very offsetting, that the Rays are this cheap. Beeks is a capable pitcher. To me, it looks like there's something up here. I lean Rays, but I'm not gonna get involved in it.
Speaking of something up, you have Big Ragu coming in on the O's -2
Wow.
at plus
Minus-
310.
Whoa. Wow.
So something is up here for sure. Mike M, Tampa Bay -2.5 at plus 175 says Tampa Bay's won 15 in a row versus Baltimore's favorites. This is a Tampa Bay ladder spot.
Yep.
Wow. Piker says Book thinks there's a regression coming for Beeks today. I don't know if it's that, Piker. I would say that it would be that they think Yarbrough is going to get touched because Beeks is going to be in there for 2 innings max. Mike M says we've done very well with alternate lines this week. I'm riding it. Okay, no action for me. No action for me or Babano in this game. Let's roll on. We move on to 7:07 p.m. Eastern. This was another strange. So we have this huge move towards the Orioles, and we had, and I don't know if it's changed in the last 2 hours or so, but a huge move towards the Cincinnati Reds. We're at the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. The Reds 11-26, 6-17 on the road. Blue Jays 20-18, 12-7 at home. This was supposed to be the series where the Blue Jays got rolling. Castillo 0-1, 5.59 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. It's only throwing 9 2/3 innings this year and hasn't looked good. His last start at the Pirates, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a homer, 2 Ks, and 1 walk. And then Hyun-Jin Ryu looked awful to begin the year, went on the DL, came back and looked quite good in a start at Tampa. 4 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 3 Ks, and 1 walk. The Reds are hitting just 213, 579 OPS versus lefties. The Jays versus righties, 235, 681. This Reds bullpen has been atrocious. Bad. Sharpie says there's been mad red flags in a lot of these games today. I agree, Sharpie. A lot of stopping me in my tracks. Reds bullpen 4.94 ERA, 1.44 WHIP, have converted just 5 of 8 save opportunities. The Jays bullpen has looked quite bad of late. 4.05 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, 15 of 23 save opportunities. Can Nate Pearson fix this? Do they need to go out and get an arm? Let's talk about the line history here and then where the cash lies and hand it over to Babano. We have the move towards the Reds is interesting. The Jays went from -185 to -192 in the first hour it was available. This is yesterday afternoon. Then back to -185. Then back to -192 at 3 in the morning. It's at this point where there was no movement until 8:30 in the morning. And at 8:30 in the morning, it was all Reds money coming in. So from 3:17 a.m. when the Reds were plus 167, they're plus 145 now. The bigger move is the -192 on the Jays has gone all the way down to -165. From a total perspective, it opened at 8 and moved to 8.5. So do we see bigger bets on the Reds and to the over so that it all follows suit? Let's see. Here we go. Cincinnati, Toronto. We have 8,259 tickets in. You have 85% of the tickets and 84% of the cash on the Blue Jays. So why would the books make it more appealing to bet the Blue Jays? Then you have 66% of tickets and 59% of cash on the over. So you can sort of see why it's gone to the over. Confusing market moves. Take it away. Babano, our Jays in play.
I am definitely on the Reds first 5 here. No question about that. I need to see more out of Ryu. I'm not buying one good start. I'm not. To me, he's been garbage since the middle part of last year, as far as I'm concerned. And look, he was good after first start off that IL, but I need to see more of it. And look, the Jays still aren't hitting. They actually somehow won that series against Seattle, and they still aren't hitting, though. I mean, even the 6 runs against Seattle, some of that was errors by the Mariners. And then the last 2 games of that series, they scored 4 runs combined. The offense is just still not, hitting on all cylinders right now for the Blue Jays. And look at this Reds team, 7-3 in their last 10 games. And in fact, really after the first horrible month of the season, they have suddenly, this 11-26 is still a terrible record, but you just look at what they've done the last 2 to 3 weeks and you can tell they're improving. There's no question about that. They played much better ball. They're starting to hit a little bit, which is good to see. Pitching's been a little bit better. They've gotten good starts from, even Green's pitched better. Connor Overton had a nice start. Maley is a capable pitcher. Now the question is going to be, is Luis Castillo ready to settle in and become, he's got ace caliber stuff, but he doesn't always pitch like it. We know that's the struggle. And this year, 5.59 ERA for him. In his 2 starts, he's given up 6 runs in 9.2 innings, which isn't great. He hasn't eaten up a ton of innings, but the stuff is still there. The Blue Jays aren't hitting right now. I don't trust Ryu, and the Reds are actually against lefty pitching the last 10 games doing all right. In fact, they're better batting average, better as a team against lefties in the last 10 games compared to versus righties, and I don't trust Ryu, and I just don't think he's that kind of pitcher that should be opening as a -180 favorite, in my opinion. So I'm going to end up going with the first 5 here on the Cincinnati Reds here at a nice price. Let me just see what the best of that is. You can get Reds first 5 at, here we go. Let me see here. Plus 135. It looks to be the best number out there. Actually, plus 136. Bookmaker has it at plus 136. Cincinnati Reds first 5. I don't even mind the full game on the Reds either, and usually I split it up. But with a bigger dog of this magnitude, I really, really want to focus in on Ryu more than the bullpen. So I'll go with the first 5 plus 130. You know what? I'll add the full game too, Jimmy. I changed my mind. I'll add the full game too. I'll add the full game too at plus 148. Looks to be the best price with the Reds full game, plus 148.
Reds first 5 plus 136.
Yep.
Full game plus 148. Wow, that was a fascinating breakdown. Bo Jackson, have fun. Bo Jackson's gonna be at the Jays game tonight.
Keep in mind, the last time I took a really big dog like this, I think it was a couple nights ago. It was Washington versus Miami, and it was, I believe, Josiah Gray on the mound for the Marlins against Pablo Lopez for the Marlins, and I believe that price. I couldn't, because Gray I think is capable for the Nationals, and it was a close game. I think it went to extra innings, but Washington won. So the last big dog we really took a shot with was a winner. So I like the Reds. I think this is very similar.
It's a fun look. And Joe Yurkovich, Reds first 3 team total over 1 at plus 115. There's almost no wind for whatever reason tonight, but I don't know if the roof will be open. It's not warm. I forget what the number is that they do it at, Babano, but it's 66 Fahrenheit at first pitch. Goes down to 63. Do you think the roof will be open?
Well, look, the Seattle series, it surprised me the roof was open in that series. So I think on a night like this, as long as there's very little chance of rain, the temperatures are going to be more than good enough to have the roof open. More than good enough, yeah.
Bo Jackson says the under. Yeah, I guess you're right. I think it's because at least I know in Seattle they put it at what if it starts over 60 Fahrenheit or higher, or 59 Fahrenheit or higher, they have the roof open. It's the opposite, Billy. The line's just been moving towards the Reds. Bo saying the under might be worth a shot. I don't want anything to do with this game. And oh wow, I need that, Joe. I need Ballpark Pal. Thank you for sharing that. There's some stadiums where I've had problems finding out the information. Thank you for sharing that with us. By the way, our guy Joe Yurkovich being with us since I started. Love the man. Great capper. And says
this has that feel like Washington with Josiah Gray against Miami the other night for me. That was an even bigger dog. That was plus 170 on the Nats.
That was a big dog.
Night. So I feel that way with the Castillo tonight and the Reds.
I had the first 5 over 3.5 in that spot, but I did give all that money back on the Marlins -1, which I thought I was going to cash once they tied it up at 4. I was like, oh man, if it's a bullpen battle, you want the Marlins over the Nats. But great,
you got to get down with the inferior teams as underdogs sometimes in spots where you think it makes sense. You just have to if you're going to try to long term be profitable in baseball.
Well, here is a spot that I did bet with a ton of confidence, and my man Tariq Skubal on the mound. God, I love this kid, and it feels like the market just has not corrected itself at all. Tigers, Guardians. I'm on the Tigers first 5. I got -115. Screwball 3-2, 2.50 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 45 Ks and 39 2/3, just 8 walks. Has only allowed 2 homers and 39 2/3. Coming off a 5-1 win at home versus the Orioles. I'd prefer to have him at home. I'd prefer to have him there. 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 11 Ks and 2 walks in his last start. He was awesome. Savali has not looked good this year.
No.
I mean, that's easy to say. He did not look good in his last start at the Twins. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 Ks, 2
He doesn't
walks.
look good in any start this year.
No. If you want to get right, this is the team to play against. Tigers versus righties, 210, 583 OPS. Guardians versus lefties, 207, 601 OPS. Tigers bullpen has been excellent this year. 2.84 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, converted 8 of 12. Guardians bullpen 3.56 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, could be converted 8 of 12. So let's do a couple things. So I got the first 5 and minus 115 for the Tigers, but let's start with the weather here. Weather here in Cleveland. We'll start there. 85 Fahrenheit, and it's blowing out very hard, if this is to be believed, and it completely dies off. You know what? Let's just check what if RotoWire backs this up, because this is a very, very strong winds. And yeah, RotoWire backs it up. Now the numbers are different, but this is how Swish says it's going to be. 22.8 miles per hour out to right center at opening pitch. Dies down to 14.3 and then completely dies off to 2.4 2 hours into the game. So let's not get too caught up into this wind, because it's only going to be there early, first off. Now let's talk about the market here in this spot, at least the line history. There was a 10-cent move last night to the Tigers. It's now come back 10 cents to the Guardians. So it's at a pick 'em, like just where it started. And from a total look, it opened up at 8, moved to 8.5, then moved to 9. I think this is a mistake. I think that cappers are looking at the weather. Look at RotoWire. It says it's 17 miles per hour out. It doesn't say it's going to completely die off by the end of the game. You have Sharpie on the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 110. And look, Matty Ice says the full game under 8.5 is on this card. I think this is a mistake. I've said it over and over again. Take it away, Babano. Tigers, Guardians.
Must be some kind of mistake. A little Genesis. Yeah, it was. Maybe it is. I'm staying off the total. I do kind of like the Tigers team total over. But I'm with you. I'm just going to stick with Tigers first 5 full game split. I'm going to go with both of them. Scooble's a bet on pitcher. I've said Scooble all year. I sound like a screwball for saying Scooball as much as I do, but nevertheless, I like him here in this spot tonight. He's pitched really, really well the last 3 starts. I mean, you look at Scooble here, the last 3 outings. He's dialed it in. 2-0, 0.95 ERA last 3 starts. 2 runs allowed for Scooble the last 3 starts combined against the Astros, the Athletics, and the Orioles. Now, Houston's the only really good offense in that group, but still, I mean, 19 innings, you give up just 2 earned runs. You're doing something right. You're doing very well. Against the Cleveland Guardians, he's faced them twice. Now, he got roughed up by Cleveland in this park April 10th. But again, early in the season. Actually, that was last year, not this year. Actually, all the starts were last year. So it was last year's numbers. But he's pitching well right now. I think he'll do well. And he's just significantly right now, based on everything we've seen, the much better arm at the moment than Aaron Savale. I mean, he's just not been good. He's been crushed in every start. It's just been unsightly how bad he's been. 6.52 ERA at home, 9.85 ERA overall this year. He's given up at least 4 runs in each of his 6 starts this year. It's a miracle that the Cleveland Guardians are 3-3, in his 6 starts with how poorly he's pitched. But I definitely think it's a big advantage here for the Detroit Tigers. No question about that. So for me, Jimmy, it's in line with you on that first 5 look, which you can get minus 118. Appears to be the best price right now with the first 5 innings, first 5 money line with the Tigers, minus 118, and full game money line as well. I'm in with that, which you can find at, it looks like here, the best price on the Tigers full game money line is minus 105. So that's what we'll go with.
I am going to, how much juice is on that under? I'd like to see how much juice is on the under 9 right now. And I would like to move on it. Let me just get it here. Under 9 minus 115. I'm going to add the full game under 9 here.
Savali has, the scary thing. The one scary thing is Savali. Cleveland is 7-0 lifetime, and Savali's 7 starts against the Tigers. He has pitched well against this group, but come on, this is just a totally different Savali right now. He's just getting walloped. He's not very much confidence right now. So this is kind of like Wainwright. But the thing is with Wainwright, yeah, he's dominated the Pirates, but he's also pitching well right now for the Cardinals. You can't say that about Savali. Yeah, he's owned the Tigers, but he's pitching awful, and he's pitched awful all season to this point. So it's a different situation.
There are 3 teams with full line value, according to Sports Insights. Full bar. Miami Marlins, a team that we're going to talk about here shortly, and the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers have 65% of the tickets, 75% of the cash on them, and then 61% of the tickets and 76% of the cash is on the over. Usually I would let that sway me, but I think this is a issue of cappers not knowing that the wind completely dies off by the end of the game. Looking at the wind of the first pitch, they're like, 17 miles per hour out. Look at Savali's ERA. So I'm going to go against this, which is something I don't usually do. De Niro says Tariq is hard on himself. I'm sure he remembers that last outing there and will right what he did wrong. And great stuff here from Sharpie. Says Savali owned these Tigers last year. 3-0, 7+ innings every game. Cleveland smashed Scooball last year. 6+ ERA in 3 games. But he says, I do think he's better than last year. Okay, I'm adding the under 9 to my card. All right, let's move on. So that's my first edition. I made 4 bets before the show. That is the first edition. Although I kind of want to circle back to that Marlins spot. Kind of want to. Let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 17-22, 8-15 on the road at the Boston Red Sox 16-22, 7-10 at home. We're at Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. We have Robbie Ray going up against Michael Wacha. This was another spot where I was everything didn't correlate because look, Wacha is like that pitcher who came up in the Cardinals playoffs however many years ago and looked awesome. Not the Wacha who was a journeyman anyone could get for a bag of baseballs over the last few years. He looks so good this year. And then Robbie Ray is coming off a bad start at the Mets. There's a lot of strange things going on around him, whether when he doesn't show up at the ballpark and things of that nature. We have T-Mac already saying Boston over 9. And Joe, you're saying Boston #1 OPS team the last 7 days. Before we break down all the stats, let's talk about the fear that set in when I thought these pitchers would have a good start. We will start with the weather at Fenway in Boston. We have 71 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 10.4 miles per hour out to left field, and that dies down to 6.6 by the end of the game. It dies down to 7.7 within an hour, so it drops 3 miles per hour within the first hour. We go into the line history of this spot. Oh, shoot. Sorry. That's the Tigers game. My bad. Here, the line history in this spot, we see almost no movement. There's been an 8-cent move. Oh, shit. Sorry. Jesus, that's the wrong game, too. Here we go. Try this again. We've seen a 5-cent move to the Boston Red Sox, and that happened at 3 a.m. Then from a total perspective, it moved to 9 at 8:36 a.m. It moved to 9 at 8:36 a.m. Let's take a look at where the cash lies in this game. 4,905 tickets in, 26% of the tickets and the cash on the Mariners. Then 76% tickets and 72% cash on the over, and we've seen it move up a half run. Sharpie says, I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 at -110. Says Walker's allowed 2 earned runs 1 time this year. Everything 1 earned run or less. Boston can't hit left-handed pitching. I hear their numbers, but those numbers, talking about the last week, the numbers versus right-hand pitching, either or can shut down the other team. He's on the under. Rant's looking at Red Sox first 5, possibly. Mike M saying Boston unders are dangerous right now. And Jeffrey Moore loves my Mariners. Runs. Runs. What is that? I'm lost with RSW. I'm sorry. Hit me with that again, Jeffrey. My bad. Robbie Ray, Michael Wacha, let's talk about it. Ray coming off a bad start at the Mets. 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 9 Ks, 3 walks, an 8-7 win. He's 4-3 with a 4.62 ERA, 1.19 whip. Everybody in Toronto was very angry that the Blue Jays didn't re-sign Robbie Ray, and I was heavily for us not re-signing Robbie Ray. You don't re-sign a free agent after his career season. You'd be crazy. You'd be a terrible manager if you did that. Michael Wacha has been so good, and you've already heard Sharpie talk about him. In his last start against a team that's smashing righties, he went 5 2/3, the Angels. He went 5 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 Ks, and 2 walks. Mariners versus righties, 242, 696 OPS. Red Sox, as Sharpie said, aren't hitting lefties at all. 228, 618 OPS, and both bullpens have been bad. 4.10 ERA, 1.24 whip, converted 6 of 10 for the Mariners. 4.11 ERA, 1.20 whip, converted just 7 of 17 for the Red Sox. Here we go, Babano. Mariners, Red Sox. You have a move.
This one, no, but I lean over. I don't trust either pitcher in this spot. I mean, I don't trust Ray. I know Ray definitely has some. The Sharpie numbers talking about Boston against lefties are valid. You know, they don't always hit them, but I see a lot of issues with Ray. He's leaving his pitches up in the zone. He wasn't doing that with Toronto. You know, that's something that's concerning for me. The Red Sox lineup starting to pick it up. The walks are starting to become a problem again for Robbie Ray with 2, 3, and 4 walks in 3 of his last 4 starts. And I don't trust Michael Wacha off the IL. This is his first start off the IL. He hasn't pitched in a little bit. That's not necessarily a bet on spot. And I can't buy into Michael Wacha doing this for the rest of the season. I know he's pitched well, but I don't trust him to be this kind of ERA guy the rest of the year. So I think you've got questionable arms both sides. I lean over the total. Haven't bet it. Not sure I will, but that's the lean.
Interesting. Interesting breakdown across the board. What are your expectations of Robbie Ray moving forward?
Well, the walks are an issue again. That's an issue because they reined that in Toronto. That's a concern for me. You know, he's one of those guys. He's such a high strikeout guy that he's going to rack up his pitch count every game. So he's not, you know, pitching deep into games either, and that's a big problem with Seattle compared to Toronto. Because to be quite honest with you, I don't like the Seattle bullpen at all. You know, I don't think it's great. You know, it's over 4 ERA for the year. The last 10 games, this bullpen has a 5.6 ERA in the last 10 games. So if Robbie Ray's only going to pitch 5-6 innings because he's ringing up strikeouts and pitch counts, that's a problem as well. So it's not just whether he's pitching good or bad. It's the style of pitching. It reverberates to the whole team in a negative fashion, because I don't think the Mariners bullpen this year is what the Jays bullpen has been the last, especially last year. So for me, because he's still very highly thought of in the betting markets, coming off a year where he won the Cy Young Award, you're not always going to get, you know, best value with him. So he's probably bet against material for me still moving forward, kind of like tonight, which is kind of why I like the over. I'd be on Boston if I had more confidence in Wacha, but it's bet against versus bet against pitcher for me, in my opinion. I don't trust either guy now. I don't trust either guy long term.
And Piker says this is his wrong hole play of the day. Boston Red Sox minus 118. Is there such a thing, Piker?
And yeah, the Red Sox have seen him a lot. Yep, of course. No doubt. Absolutely, they have, from all the starts with the Blue Jays last year against Robbie Ray against the Red Sox. No question about that. So that's definitely a good stat to keep in mind. Now, last year he had a couple of bad starts against them and a couple of gems down the stretch. You know, the last 2 against Boston, he only gave up a run in 12 innings. So there's a mixed bag for him against Boston last year.
Billy Friedrich says nostril, ear hole. You obviously haven't tried it. All right, we move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. This is a move I did make. Minnesota Twins, Kansas City Royals. I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 115. We're at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. We have the 26-year-old Smeltzer, 5th-round pick out of the Dodgers in 2016 on the mound. He pitched in the bigs the last 3 seasons. I should have dug deeper as to why he didn't break with the club out of spring training, but he's one of those kind of shifty, tricky lefties, and I don't know why he didn't break with the club. So going up against Daniel Lynch, who's been very good, as we expected him to be. This is a very highly thought of pitcher coming up, and he got rocked last year, and he's too good to keep getting rocked And now he's pitching very well. 3.30 ERA, 1.30 whip, 29 Ks in 30 innings. In his last start, he went 5 1/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 4 walks, an 8-7 win at Colorado. So that was in the thin air against a team that smashes lefties. So the Twins also hit lefties hard, but I like Lynch. And then the Royals don't hit lefties. So I think Smeltzer can get through comfortably, just like he did in his last start at home versus the Guardians when he went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 Ks, and 2 walks. I'm focusing on the first 5 only because I don't trust the Royals bullpen. 4.14 ERA, 1.37 whip, have converted 8 of 13 save opportunities. And the Twins bullpen has been very good this year. 3.30 ERA, 1.19 whip, have converted 9 of 12 save opportunities. Let's start with the weather in KC. We have 66 Fahrenheit at first pitch, and it's blowing in hard. 13 miles per hour in, and it stays hard all game. Goes down to 11.7, then 11.1 miles per hour. Julian Cesario on the Twins. And let's move over to the line history in this spot. We have no movement. There's been times when KC has taken 5 or 10 cents, but we're right back to where we started. Minnesota minus 135, KC plus 115. And from a total perspective, it dropped to 8 at about 10 o'clock, to near 11 o'clock last night, and got back up to 8.5 at 8:36 this morning. It's juiced to minus 120 on the 8.5 right now. I took the first 5 under 4.5. Let's take a look where the money is, and should I be more confident or less confident? 31% of the tickets. Oh, so here is your third team that has full line value from Sports Insights. I already told you that the Marlins have it, the Tigers have it, and so do the Kansas City Royals. 31% of the tickets are on the Royals, 51% of the cash, and the totals of coin flip, 50-50 on the tickets and 48% of tickets on the under. Take it away, Babano. Smeltzer, Lynch, young lefties battling in KC.
Yeah, I like the Royals for first 5. Not full game with that bullpen. I've seen enough of that bullpen to know they're brutal. They're terrible. I don't trust them flat out. But I like Lynch a little bit. Lynch has good stuff. He's highly thought of by this organization. Not that Smeltzer isn't, but I like Lynch here at the value. You're getting a nice little home underdog price with him here, first 5 innings, which is plus, I believe. Let me just see what the best price is. I believe it's plus 110. I'm not sure there's anything better than that right now. Yeah, plus 110 with Kansas City, first 5 innings. And Lynch, by the way, just pitched against the Twins earlier this year and dominated them. Pitched extremely well. 4-hit shutout baseball, 2-0 victory for the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium back on April 20th. So pitched well. Smeltzer, look, his first start of the year back on the weekend against Cleveland. 1 run, 3 hits, 5 innings. No question, pitched well. Lefty should match up well here against the Royals when you think of their lineup. A little paltry against lefties, but I like Lynch here a little bit. Again, shut down this Twins team earlier this year. You got a nice little home underdog price. They got off to a nice start yesterday against the White Sox early in that game. That's been the typical way of things for the Royals. Starts strong in some games, but end up faltering late. And obviously the bullpen woes have played a part in that. So I'm going to go with the Royals here, plus 110, first 5. I
like it. And I want to tail it.
I just think Lynch long-term is more upside than Smeltzer.
Oh, without a doubt. No doubt. I mean, clearly. And, JPZ Babano's on the other side, first 5 on the Royals. We've got a lot of Twins action here in the chat. Julian Cesario on the Twins. JPZ says Twins 1-7 his favorites, 5-0 against AL Central. Julian Cesario says I'll trust the Twins money line with a better lineup today at that price. Anders Larson's on Twins money line, no run first inning. Trusting a Lynch is exactly what I wanted to hear, and I will do the same. This will be my second edition excuse me, to the card. Still kind of dealing with whatever I got.
This is not going to be a split. Usually I'll try to split full game, but I've got real worries, especially after yesterday, what we saw from the Royals pen. Enough worries that, hey, I'm taking the full game right out.
And it also correlates with me cheering the Twins to lose to pick up my loot at the end of the year on the White Sox to win the division. I love it. Great job. Great breakdown. We move on. And this is my 4th and final bet that I'd already made. Rangers, Houston Astros. I'm on the first 5 under 4.5. And I believe this was going against. It was. It's 50-50 in tickets for this total, but 76% of the cash is on the over. And I was hoping that there was a belief that maybe these Astros can get to the Rangers bullpen, which we saw last night. Mally Mal, what up, my man? Says, I'm guessing you guys passed on the Cubs game. Yeah, your guess is right, but there's a ton of action here from our cappers on the under. And the slap that ass play of the day from Red Girls also on the under. But yes, Babano and I stopped. Eric Jones on the over 8.5 here. T-Mac agreeing with this look here. First, let's go over the market. And then we'll discuss why exactly I did this. Here we go. We have a 10-cent move towards the Astros. This morning, there was a 15-cent move towards them. And then there was a 15-cent move back at 10 a.m. Went right back to the opening line. Since then, there's been a 10-cent move to the Astros. So Astros are at minus 175. From a total look, opened up at 8 and moved to 8.5. That 8.5 was juiced to the over at 8:54 a.m. It's now back to being a pick'em. We go over to the money in this spot. You have half line value on Martin Perez. There's 2 teams. So I told you the 3 teams with full line value. Then there's 2 teams with half line value. And there are a few slivers out there that we won't talk about. The 2 teams with a half line value are Babano, Cincinnati Reds, and the Texas Rangers. We have 19% of the tickets on the Texas Rangers and 49% of the cash. So big bets have come in on the Texas Rangers. I already told you about the total. So when I was figuring this spot out, I was thinking that there must be a belief in the market that Javier is what his last start showed, and that is susceptible. But we know this Rangers team doesn't hit righties, and they don't hit anybody lately. And if you look at the batter versus pitcher, the Rangers that hit him aren't named Marcus Semien, and they aren't. I'll go over the batter versus pitcher stuff, but Javier last out 3 2/3, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 3 walks in a 13-6 loss at the Nationals. He looked awful. The Astros, forget your vividness bias of them smashing lefties. They stopped doing that. And I know Martin Perez has been somebody in the past that I've liked to fade. He's been awesome this year. 2.01 ERA, 1.02 whip, 33 Ks and 40 in the third. In his last start, he went 6 innings on 5 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 2 walks, and 7-1 win at home versus the Red Sox. I'm on the first 5 under 4.5. And Matty Ice says, did you see the Taint news? Nolan Gorman called up and will play second base for the Cardinals tonight. 11 home runs, 16-game hit streak in the minors. Look at that for the Cardinals. Take it away here, Babano. Rangers, Astros, Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, Javier is someone that got off to well, let's be honest, not a very good start to the year. He got roughed up early on, but look, come back strong, a little bit better. Last start, not so good. 7 runs, 8 hits, 3.2 innings. We'll see if he can bounce back from that. Does have a good track record against Texas in his past, 4-1 in 5 starts. Houston's 4-1 in 5 starts for Javier against them. I'd lean a little to them here. I mean, when you look at Martin Perez, obviously the Astros have seen him a lot. He's actually pitched relatively well this year. We'll give him credit, especially the last 5 starts, giving up 1 run or fewer in 4 of them. Other than one kind of rough outing against Kansas City, and even in that game, the defense kind of failed him. Only one of those 4 runs to Kansas City was earned, so he pitched pretty well there. So I got to give Perez the benefit of the doubt. So I wouldn't talk you out of the first 5 under. It's not a bet for me. I lean Houston first 5 -0.5, but I will give Perez his due because he's pitched well. 4 of his last 5 starts have been absolutely terrific. So even though I think in theory the Astros should be able to hit him, so I lean first 5 -0.5 with the Astros, but it's going to be a pass.
I'm on it. I'm on the first 5 under 4.5. There's our guy Cole Leon, the Vegas King, going back to the well with the Warriors here. Great to see you, Cole, my guy. All right, so we move on. So I've had those that we've gone over the 4 bets that I've made. We've talked about the 2 additions we're making. Let's see what else we find here in these late games. We go to 8:10 p.m. Eastern in the Washington Nationals. Sharpie just said Nationals are top 10 versus right-handed pitching the last 15 days. Can you blame Javier for that? Look, I'm backing Javier and comfortably here. And these Nats are not going up against a righty. They're going up against a lefty. It used to be something that they did with aplomb. They used to smash lefties. No longer. Now 241, 641 OPS this year versus lefties. And it's Fetty versus Eric Lauer. Two pitchers that are difficult to trust. But Lauer has been so good yet again. Remember, last year, the Brewers picked him up for a cup of coffee. Any team in the league could have him, and he was lights out all year. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. These Nats are just 13-26 on the year, but they've been good on the road. Compared to their record, they're 8-11 on the road. The Brewers 24-14, 12-5 at home. Fetty versus Lauer. Let's start with the line history in this spot. We have the Brew Crew opening up at -192, and then all of this movement happened last night. It would go down to -185, back to -192, down to -185. It's sitting at -200 right now for the Milwaukee Brewers. On the total, it opened at 8.5 at 3:18 p.m. At 8:30 p.m., it moved to 8. So it dropped a half run. Okay. Then, T-Max on the first 5 over 4.5. Oh, under. Oh, he's still on. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Sharpie says Eric Lauer changes mechanics. He's not the guy from last year. Throw that out, in my opinion. Been riding Lauer all year. Lauer was great last year. He was great. He was very good unexpectedly, and it helped the Brewers immensely because they had some starting pitching injuries to start off the year. Fetty Lauer. Oh, let's go over to the money here. Now, he did get hit at the very end of the season, but first 3 quarters of the year, he was great. 7,805 tickets in, 92% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on Milwaukee, and no real market move towards them. 71% of tickets on the over, but just 54% of the cash. 46% of cash is on the under. So big bets have been made on the under. Fetty last start, 13-6 win at home versus the Astros. 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 3 walks. Wasn't awful. 1.50 whip is far too high. 32 Ks in 34 innings isn't bad. He's only allowed 4 homers in 34 innings. I say only because we know what Fetty can do. Then Lauer last start was bad. It was at the Marlins. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 homers allowed, 7 Ks, no walks. But he's got a 0.98 whip on the year, and he's got 49 Ks in 34 2/3. Brewers are hitting righties, 240, 742 OPS. Nats bullpen has been poor, as expected. Brewers bullpen hasn't been quite as good as we thought. 3.69 ERA, 1.24 whip. Take it away here, Babano. Nats, Brewers.
Yeah, I mean Lauer's been they've gotten way more out of him than I ever in a million years thought they would. Really, ever since he's been a significant regular part of this Brewers rotation, and this year it's kept it up. 2.60 ERA overall here at Miller Park. Lights out. 2-0, the team record. 2-0, his record. 1.38 ERA for Lauer here at home. So he's very comfortable pitching in this park. And look, and Eric Fetty's actually pitched well on the road. So it's kind of weird where his overall ERA is not great, but a lot of his worst performances have been on the road. Against the Angels, he shut him out in 5 innings, pitched well there. He actually only gave up 1 run in Colorado. I still can't believe that one earlier this month. I still don't think Fetty's great. He's more of a fade pitcher for me, but he has been solid on the road. He's had some surprisingly good outings. I lean Brewers first 5 here, but I don't love the price enough. You're talking, you got to lay a little bit of juice here if you like the first 5 with the Brewers. It's right around currently the minus 130 in this game with the Brewers. I don't know if I love it enough to bet it. I lean that way, but it's going to be a pass.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, look at the numbers the Brewers have against righties. Remember, they weren't hitting to start off the year, but now they're hitting 240, 742 OPS versus righties. Sharpie confident here on the run line. I mean, how expensive I guess, is there any concerns about Lauer after a rough start? It was at the Marlins. Now he comes back home where he's been so good. And then how do we get the juice down if you want? We don't need to go first. I guess you'd have to take them on the run line. You'd have to take them minus 1.5. I don't hate it. Okay, tell me this. What would keep you off Milwaukee -1.5 at plus 100? Novik.
Well, you're right about their bullpen. You know, that's part of the thing. That's part of the problem. Their bullpen. I was I on the Brewers, or I'm trying to think who I was on, but it was Atlanta that blew a game for me against Milwaukee with their bullpen. Wasn't Milwaukee's, but no, overall Milwaukee's bullpen this year has been a little bit susceptible. Washington's has been bad, so maybe I shouldn't have that big of a fear. But no, I don't trust Fetty. I don't. I just see that 1.59 ERA on the road, and I back away a little bit. But make no mistake about it, I don't want Washington here. I don't want Eric Fetty here. I've not placed a bet on Eric Fetty, and I don't even remember when the last time. I don't think I have, to be quite honest, bet Washington when he's been on the mound. It's Milwaukee only for me, -0.5, -1. I don't hate the run line, -1.5. But again, when you talk about the home team run lines, I'm going to go back to that same sentiment with the home teams on the run line. You don't always get that ninth inning. You only get 8 innings of at bats sometimes with the home teams. If I'm going to bet a run line, I prefer a full game run line. I prefer the road team usually when it comes to that. But no, I don't hate it. I just like I said, I might end up adding it, but right now I'm just lukewarm on it with the Brewers, and I like the first 5 better at -0.5, -130.
Jeffrey Moore saying the -1 is the play. It's just a little too expensive for me, I think. What is it going to be, a -150? It's just a little too expensive. It's a little too expensive. It's too expensive. I'd rather take the run line with no vig. I'm thinking of adding the Brewers and riding with Sharpie on this. Thinking about it. Okay, let's keep rolling, Babano. We move on to 8:40 p.m. Eastern. New York Mets, 26-14, 13-6 on the road at the Colorado Rockies, 18-19, 13-9 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Let's take a look at the weather in Denver. And it is snow, heavy snow. This game's not going to be played. It's not listed as a possible rain out, but let's see what RotoWire says. They're not going to play in heavy snow. I mean, we love watching it. Yeah, this game is 60% snow, and it's in the red. This game doesn't get played. Excuse me. Yeah, Billy Friedrich said 60% chance of snow here. Let's not spend too much time on. There's no way they play this game, right, Ian?
You got to believe that if it's going to be I looked at this forecast and it's supposed to be actually snowing during the game, so. If that's going to be the case, you're going to have to end up probably postponing. How about this? Crazy weather, right? Snow in May 20th, and we're talking snow right now in Colorado. Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. Okay. This game does not get played here, so let's not.
If it does get played, I lean to the over. I definitely lean to the over in this game. I don't trust Carrasco's road ERA is bad. I don't trust his style of work in this ballpark, and Marquez is kind of been up and down himself, and the Mets are hitting. There's no question about that. So I'm definitely interested in the over, but again, I don't think this game's getting played, and you're talking about snow. So really, you're right. Yeah. There's no need to talk further probably about it.
All right, let's move on. We have 2 games left, and then we get into NBA with Darryl Rice, a.k.a. it's Darryl, who's coming off board sweepage again. God, it just feels like it's been 2 months of just winning. It feels real good. Okay, 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 16-24, 10-10 on the road at the Los Angeles Angels, 24-16, 12-7 at home. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. We'll start with the weather here. 64 Fahrenheit, cool in Anaheim at first pitch. 7 miles per hour out to left center. It dies down to 5.5. Cold for LA. 62 Fahrenheit at the final hour of the game. Let's move over to the line history next. Take a look at this here with Blackburn versus Silseth. We have the Angels opening up at -160. 20-cent move to them last night to 239 in the morning. Dropped 5 cents, came back. So it's right there. 20-cent move towards the Angels. From a total perspective, opened up at 8 and at 7, hit 7.5 at 8:30 this morning. 7.5 at a pick'em. Take a look at the cash flow in this Angels spot. $6,000 90 tickets in. 74% of the tickets, 77% of cash on the Angels, 20-cent move towards them. That all makes sense. 42% tickets on the under and 64% of cash on the under. So big bets have come in on the under, and it's moved to 7.5. So everything is pretty clear here. Question is, how do you handle these two pitchers? Paul Blackburn has looked very good this year. 4-0, 1.67 ERA, 0.90 whip, 29 Ks in 37 2/3. And then you have Chase Silseth, 22-year-old. He's picked in the 11th round out of the University of Arizona. He goes late because he's 6 feet tall and 217 pounds. And every other pitcher, I'm sure, in the bullpen is 6'3" to 6'6". So he goes later than he should have just because he's a 6-foot-tall pitcher. 22-year-old was picked in the 2021 draft, and he's already in the show. In Double-A Rocket City this year, he started 5 games. He went 2-0 with a 1.73 ERA, a 0.85 whip, 37 Ks in 26 innings, 37 Ks, 7 walks, and 2 home runs allowed. In his first start at the A's, he looked very good. 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks. And now he faces them again at home. The A's are hitting just 203, 569 OPS versus righties. The Angels are hitting 245, 756 OPS. So much stronger. 200 points better in the OPS. Both bullpens have been good. The A's bullpen's been much better than we expected. 3.40 ERA, 1.32 whip. And the Angels bullpen, 3.72 ERA, 1.12 whip, have converted 11 of 17 save opportunities. Take it away here, Babano. A's, Angels.
This is my like Washington a couple days ago, like Cincinnati. We talked about it earlier on the card. I think we got a live dog here. I really do. I've got no problem trying to fade this little upstart here from the Double-A ranks, Chase Silseth. I got to see it again. This is a guy that got promoted. I know he was lights out in Double-A, and we're talking about a pitcher that skipped Triple-A. You know, he's basically skipping a grade, so to speak, and now he's up at the major league level, and now he's got to pitch against the same team he faced last week. I'll dare him, especially as a minus 180 favorite, you know, to be as good. I don't think he will. And I know Oakland's lineup is paltry. I get it. It's not a great lineup by any stretch, the Athletics, but you're still a kid that just came right up to the major leagues from Double-A. It's now pitching your second straight game against the same team. I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to as good this time around, Chase Silseth. And look, Paul Blackburn's been bet on material for me now for several starts. Can he keep this up? I don't know, but you got to roll with it right now. He's pitched great. He has a 1.67 ERA overall. On the road, he's been even better than that. 0.83 ERA. The A's are 4-0 in his road starts. The A's are 6-1 in Paul Blackburn's 7 starts overall this year. And look, it's not like the Angels come into this series playing good ball. They just got swept by Texas, sticking a little bit of a cork in their hot start to the season a little bit. So Angels slumping a little bit. Bullpen hasn't been as good the last few games. This is a first 5 and full game split for me. Oakland Athletics. I think we've got a live dog here. Blackburn's been bet on all the way for me, and he is once again here.
Wow. I think you talked me into a first 5 flyer. I don't think I can double up as you have, but wow. Very, very fun breakdown. I loved it. Let's get you the best line available right now and see what that is. Let me just move over to Pinnacle. We'll let Pinnacle get us started here. Wow, that was fascinating. The A's are plus 160 here, full game, which I believe is the same as they are at Bet365, which means I'm sure we can find better. Let's just see what circuit. And then for plus 160.
Plus 164 is the absolute best first 5 line right now at Bet Online. Plus 164. It's even better than Pinnacle, which is plus 162. So that's the best first 5. Full game. It looks like the best full game right now is plus 165 at WinBet. Yep, that's the best one. Win
wow.
Sportsbet.
So
Win Sportsbook. Yep.
We have Babano's second double up on a big dog. This is an even bigger dog. He has the Reds.
Yep.
And now he has the A's. This is fascinating. I like the breakdown. Nufflashan says, Jimmy, we're having a weird cool weather day. It will most likely be damp tonight in this Angels game. Sharpie says, Blackburn just got touched by the Angels. Says, I can't back this Angels kid on back-to-back over or nothing for Sharpie. Wow.
They both pitched well. Blackburn pitched great against the Angels last week, and Silseth did pitch well against the Athletics last week. But this is the young kid now, second line. Now, same with Blackburn. Maybe Blackburn's going to get hit by the Angels a little bit. So maybe there's some truth to that over. And it does fall into that over situation where you have two pitchers that shut down the opposing lineup just a week ago, and they're playing the same team, the same lineup the very next week. That's a over the total situation for me. So I definitely lean over. But boy, I mean, Blackburn's been great on the road, even better on the road. And he's faced some tough lineups. He has actually faced some pretty good lineups to get to this point where he's just got this terrific record. He's had to face Tampa Bay. He's had to face, he's had to Toronto. He's had to face Tampa Bay twice. He's had to pitch against some pretty good lineups so far this year, Blackburn. So, 4-0 on the road, 6-1 overall for Oakland this year with Blackburn on the mound. So, look, they're 8 games below 500, but, I would say 6 of their – how many wins? They've got 16 wins. 6 of them have come with Paul Blackburn on the mound. So, he's been winning for them.
Wow. Huh. Wow, Danzo said, did you know that there are no pitchers?
That's nearly half of their victories, Oakland, with Paul Blackburn. It's unbelievable. 6 out of 16.
That is unbelievable. Oh, he's got 4. I've got him with 4-0. Oh, but in the games he's played in.
It's pitched in. Yeah, overall, 6-1. Yep.
Sharpie says Trout was not in the lineup last week versus Blackburn. I mean, sure, that helps. I think this is a fascinating way of handling it. I think I'm close to adding the A's.
That's a great point, Sharpie. I can't deny that. Mike Trout did not face Blackburn, and that's a big bat to have, in your lineup against him. So how is Blackburn lifetime against Trout? That would be a good thing to look up. If Daily Baseball existed, which it doesn't. So sad that website's gone. It's such a great site.
It's funny because, I mean, how poor do you need to be to not be able to monetize that site? I mean, I don't want to say dumb, but come on, that was an easy site to monetize.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I find that very appealing. Okay. I'm very interested in that A's first 5 with you. All right, let's move on to 10:15 p.m. Eastern. This is the final game on the MLB card. San Diego Padres 24-14, 14-7 on the road at the San Francisco Giants 22-15, 11-7 home at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Let's touch on the weather here. 61 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 13.8 miles per hour to straightaway center. It drops to 9.4, and we know that the wind swirls in San Francisco, so it's not that big of a deal. Let's take a look at the line history here in Frisco. Minaya versus Junis. And very thankful that Jose talked me off of fading Junis 2 starts ago. He's been much better than I expect him. He could have got picked up by any team in the league for a cup of coffee. And he's pitching well right now. And I just want to be ahead of the curve when he starts getting violently touched. The Padres open up at minus 115. There's been a 20-cent move to the San Francisco Giants, a big move to the Giants. This total opened up at 7.5, juice to the over. It's still right there at minus 115, juice to the over. Take a little look at the cash flow here. 5,232 tickets in. 63% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on the Giants. And 43% of the tickets, 66% of cash on the over. Minaya coming off a quality start, especially quality with 12 Ks, 6-5 loss at the Braves. He went 7 innings, 6 hits, 300 runs. Homer, 12 Ks, 2 walks. He's a 3.77 ERA, 1.12 whip on the season, 50 Ks in 43 innings. Jacob Junis, 1.74 ERA, 0.97 whip. But we know who Junis really is. But he's been good this year. God, nothing irritates me more when I know this guy's going to start getting tagged, and I'm not betting against him when he starts getting tagged. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 4-0 loss. Let the Cardinals. Padres versus righties, just 222, 634 OPS. Giants versus lefties, 229, 713 OPS. They're hitting lefties a lot more than we thought. Both bullpens have been decent, but we thought the Giants bullpen was going to be really good off their start. They've been hit hard lately. 3.75 ERA, 1.29 whip, converted to 10-15. Padres bullpen, 3.85 ERA, 1.13 whip, converted to 60 and 22. And they've been quite a bit better over the last 7 days or so. Take it away here, Babano. Last game on the card, Padres Giants.
Yeah, very interesting matchup. Minaya, of course, coming over from Oakland now with San Diego. I'm not enamored with the way he's pitched so far. I mean, 3.77 ERA is not bad, not terrible, but he's labored in every start. And you look at these starts, he's given up 6.6576 hits allowed in the last 5 starts. And, the last 3 starts, he's given up just 3 runs, but he's had trouble. He's had, ducks on the pond, in a lot of different innings so far. And that's concerning for me, for Manaea a little bit. And, the Padres didn't really hit against Philly all that much. Even in the wins, they scored 3 and they scored 2. And then, of course, they got shut out by Zach Wheeler in the second game of that series. But now they travel to San Francisco, and you go from Philly to San Francisco with no day off. So keep that in mind. Not the great schedule here for the Padres, having to go to San Francisco here with no day off. Junis, you're right. I mean, I'm not ready to buy into Jake Junis by any stretch of the imagination. He's obviously had 2 solid starts, gave up a couple runs in the 2 starts he's made so far for the San Francisco Giants. But 1.74 ERA, here's where the alarm bells go off. 1.74 ERA for Junis, 3.34 FIP, 3.55 xFIP, and his xERA, which I think is even more accurate now of what could be about to arise for a pitcher than the FIP and xFIP. His xERA is more than 2 runs higher than his ERA. His xERA is 4.25, Jacob Junis. So that tells me that there's a whole lot of good baseball luck, a whole lot of good baseball fortune. He's getting scorched a little bit, and his hard hit rate's not where you want it to be, which means they're barreling up on the pitches, but they're landing in gloves right now, and they're landing in outs, and that's kind of what's happening at the moment for Junis. So when I look at this game, I look at a San Francisco team that's been trending over the total, 7-2 to the over their last 9 games. Manaea, actually, the Padres have gone over his last 4 starts have gone over the total for the Padres. So that's where I'm going, Jimmy, for my last official play on this card here. Over 7.5, minus 112 at Bet Online. We'll go with that over the total here with Padres and Giants.
You spoke of the tough travel for the Padres. Does that not concern you at all with their bats, or you're just that Junis is going to regress and you want to be ahead of the curve?
That's an alarming. Those are alarming stats. When you're talking over 2.5 runs, where your xERA number is higher than your ERA, you've got a lot of baseball roulette going on in your favor right now. If you're Jacob Junis, and that's the kind of roulette that can't sustain itself for a full season. You keep giving up that kind of hard hit contact, getting that fortunate, with your defense coming through for you. Eventually those pitches are going to hit they're going to result in extra base hits when you're giving up some of this hard hit rate that he is. So you got to hope the Padres offense has been sketchy lately. There's no question, but the Giants offense hasn't been sketchy. They've been able to score some runs, and they've been trending over. Like I said, Manaea 4-0 to the over. Actually, Pinnacle has over 7.5, minus 109. So we'll go with that. Even better price there. So over 7.5, minus 109 at Pinnacle. Padres Giants. Final play of the MLB card.
Oh, great stuff, Babano. I enjoy these Fridays immensely. Those of you who follow us, the main thing, and at times it's embarrassing, and at times it makes us feel good, but we track every play with honesty and transparency. And Babano got off to a really rough start and has cleaned it up fast. Babano, that's a fast cleanup job. Fast.
Because I laid myself in a big hole after that first Friday of the baseball season on this show. It was 1-8, 1-9, something like it was terrible.
It was actually 2 Fridays.
Yeah.
Because you didn't hammer too much on that first Friday.
Yeah.
It was the 2 Fridays. So you went 1-9, and then you cleaned it all up fast. That's so impressive. It takes me a lot longer to climb out of the hole. You're 20-20. 20-20. Minus 2.4.
And of the 4 major sports, I make no bones about this every year. Baseball's 4th out of 4 in terms of success rate for me throughout my career. So, I know it's not my strongest sport, but we bet it every year. We still handicap it. We want to win. We put in the work to try to do the best we can, admitting that it's not my strongest sport. But I'm very proud of having a hole that bad early in the season, getting out of it, and getting us to a point where profitability is right there for us if we can keep our eye on the prize.
Yeah, I just love it. I love it. It's and tracking my friends. It's such a, I want them to succeed so bad. That's why I was beating myself up for not realizing how spectacular you've been in NHL, because I would be shouting that out at children. There we go. Let's review all action. We have Ron Crawford, MLB spreadsheet play of the day is on the Cubs, and Red Girl slap that ass play of the day is on Arizona, Chicago first 5 under 5.5. No action for Babano and I. The taint play of the day is the Cards first 5 -1/2 at -110. Babano got in on that, and he got a nice line. Cards first 5 -1/2 -102, and the full game -139. So double up spot there for Babano. I'm off that Cards Pirates game. Braves Marlins, we stayed off. I'd like to circle back here for 10-30 seconds here. It's Morton. Morton's coming off a great start at home. Do you think that Morton is vulnerable on the road, or do you think that he had a rough start to the season and he's turned it around now and he'll be good?
Morton is a very crafty veteran pitcher who is very capable. There's no question about that. And that is the one thing that is why I'm not pulling the trigger yet on the Marlins or the over, which are my two leans in that game, as I mentioned earlier, Marlins and over. And he has pitched a lot better in those last two starts. But going on the road, he's had a little more inconsistency with the Marlins head-to-head. And Trevor Rogers, a couple of really bad starts early, but he's pitched better at home the last couple. I still lean to the Marlins a little bit with Rogers, but I do respect the turnaround. The last couple starts have been much better for Morton, so that's why I'm hesitant. I'm just like you, hesitant.
I have enough action. I'm fine. Yankees score first. That was the first bet I made today. I got -125 on that. Babano's on the Yankees first 5 -1/2 -136. If I could get that price -136, I would bet it. I can only get -150, and the Yankees first 5 -1.5 +120. So the -1 is even a -114 or 13. So I'm not moving on it. But Babano's on Yankees first 5 -1/2 and the over 8.5 in White Sox Yankees. We stayed off Dodgers Phillies, and we stayed off Rays Orioles. Our guy Sharpie. Let's talk about his action. He's on the Pirates team total under 4 -125. Detroit Cleveland first 5 under 4.5. Seattle Boston first 5 under 4.5. And the Dodger game, he's leaning to the Dodgers and over, but he's off of it. Babano has two dogs that he's doubled up on. He's doubled up on the Reds, first 5 at +136 and full game +148. I am on the Tigers, first 5 -115. Babano's on the Tigers, first 5 -118 and full game -105. And I'm adding the Detroit Cleveland under 9. For those of you who missed that breakdown, the wind is ridiculously strong, and then it dies off. But all the cappers are seeing, if you go to RotoWire, you see 17 miles per hour. Well, it's actually like 21 or 22, but it dies all the way down to 2 by the end of the game. And I think I can take advantage of that. And we had Sharpie break down Savali's great work against the Tigers, and Scooball, who got hit hard by the Guardians last year. I think he can show that he's a good pitcher, a very good pitcher. Mariners, Red Sox, we stayed off. I'm on the Minnesota, Kansas City first 5 under 4.5. Babano's on the Royals first 5 +110. I'm going to join him. I'm a Lynch fan. I'm on Texas Houston first 5 under 4.5 at -110. And Sharpie's on the Brewers -1.5. And I think I'm going to join him. On this. That's at +100 right now. Mets Rockies, we think it's going to be snowed out. Here's the second double up dog for Babano. A's first 5 +164, full game +165. I think I might join him on A's first 5. See what Chase Silseth will do in his second career start. Then Babano closes his card with the over 7.5 at -109 in San Diego, San Francisco. Great work, Babano. Love these Fridays. Get that cash. Keep up the great work in NHL. I will review your NHL at the end of the show. And thanks for sharing all your hard work and insights with us.
Always great to be with you, Jimmy, on a Friday, and all the people in the chat as well. Good luck with your bets. I'll be on the Pub Hub, NBA Pub Hub later today, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And we've got our Saturday, Sunday Pub Hub shows because we got conference finals games each day this weekend. So all weekend long, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, we got the NBA Pub Hub. And, of course, Jimmy and the gang with the horse racing tomorrow, Preakness Stakes. Looking forward to that. Clean up at the track tomorrow, Jimmy, you and everyone else.
I love it. There he is. Follow him on Twitter at Babano. I need to make up for a poor Saturday. I had a good Friday, Kentucky Oaks Day, and then I had a bad Saturday. I would like my goal is for $1,000. I'll be aiming for 1K. We'll be on the 1K search. All right, we move on to NBA, coming off more board sweepage. God, the consistency of our next capper has been spectacular. That's why after we watched him cap for a little while, we added him to a second day of the week. So he'd be on with us 2 days a week. And I love watching him work. Please welcome to the show, direct from Los Angeles, California, Darryl Rice. It's Darryl, baby. It's Darryl.
Yo. What's good, Jay? Happy Friday to you, brother. Happy Friday to you, man. Good time to be alive right now. Good time to be alive. I'm going to a wedding, so I thought I'd start drinking early. So after the show, it's time to get busy. I'm gonna go to this wedding faded as hell.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, man.
My man Lee Davis says, "Can you check your DM during the basketball segment?" I can, and I will have that set up. So I will look at this right now. Okay, let's get to work. I'm gonna have to read it. It's gonna take a little time, so we'll go over it while we break this down. Dennis Garcia says, "I'll play Dallas, but going to be broke
Oh, God.
betting Miami tomorrow."
Yeah, where's
So-
Nate at? Where's Nate?
Nate
somewhere in the
deserves-
chat. Yeah.
Nate deserves all the love in the world for his Celtics trifecta.
My God.
Also, Darryl, can you turn up your mic a little bit for us? We've turned you up as much as
Okay.
possible. If you could get a little bit louder for us, we would love that.
How about now?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's hear what. Or perfect. Okay, he says that's fine. We're good. We're money.
Okay.
More money.
Hold on. How about now? We're good? We're good?
Yeah, we're perfect. Thank you. There he is, Nasty Nate. Great work.
Oh, God. I don't want to. You know what, man? Listen, Miami. Okay. So, for whatever reason, Jimmy, and I've said this before, right? I do great on this show. Yeah. I had a bad Friday last Friday. Jenkins, what's good, brother? I see you. Nut Flush, of course, I see you. We got to get a game. But listen to this, man. I do my worst work on PubHub on Thursdays. I do my worst work on Thursdays. So I got to make up for that. But I was heavy on Miami yesterday. Heavy on Miami. And I just had nightmares, bro. I had nightmares after that. So, I mean, Miami has mentally broke me, right? Because moving in today's games, do you see this kind of pattern happening with game twos where Dallas might come back a little stronger? So then you just read off Dennis's message where he's like, "Yeah, I'm going in on Dallas tonight," and I'm just like, "Oh, I just don't know, man. You've got to simplify things, Jimmy. You can't overthink things in a lot of these instances, but that beat down that Miami had yesterday is just making me look at today's games like holy hell, what's going to happen?" So I got some interesting angles.
Well, I'm looking forward to hear them. When I last night or 2 nights ago, and then yesterday morning, I was like, well, I want to be on the Heat. But the market moved towards the Celtics. And then, as the show was on, learning that Horford would be in and then seeing Wham on the Celtics and seeing Nate wanting to triple up and all that stuff, it just talked me off of it. And so I stayed on the sidelines, still up double-digit units on the season for me.
Yeah, man.
And if
you follow me, then everybody's up. So I lost the play yesterday, but damn, if you're following me on this show alone, then you got a serious bag in your pocket. So
no doubt, it's been
I see Ninja 13. It's all good, brother. I don't know who the hell you are, but obviously you haven't seen my body at work, so it's all good, man. Yeah, I appreciate you though.
Yeah, Ninja 13 comes in and hates all he wants. He's hitting 60% on the show is absolutely spectacular.
It is all good. I give the trolls a little bit of love because trolls need love too.
Yeah, we don't want to give them too much oxygen. We don't want to give them too much gasoline. But yeah, but on Wednesday, I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is. Cashed very easily. Cashed by 25 points. And your Kevon Looney player prop cash. You swept the board.
Interesting angle.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk Mavericks Golden State. So the 6.5 that was available to me has moved to 6. But
6.
I got kind of a bad taste in my mouth betting these spreads on the road. I stayed off of game 1. I'd love an opportunity to hedge my Dallas futures.
Really?
Well, of course. I mean, $10,000 if they win the championship. Look, I don't need $10,000. I prefer to be guaranteed some $1,000.
Okay.
18 to 1, so $3,600 if just $200 on each. So it's a really easy hedging situation if the opportunity arises. Now, Dennis Garcia also has futures on the Mavericks. He doesn't need to worry because he's got the Warriors at plus 400 to win the conference. I don't.
Oh, wow.
So he just sits back. Wow. He says it's nap time, but now he's angry. Now after watching the Mavericks get destroyed, I'm sure it's not nap time tonight. I'm sure he's angry and will be watching. I would like to take the Mavericks money line tonight. I feel like it was just too safe of me being on the spread, and right now, at this point where I am at, I want the rush of a bigger. I'm only making one bet. Why not go for it?
Really?
Yeah. Right now I'm in really nice shape because with my local, I don't get any of the. I don't get the Scotty. I haven't seen the Scotty Barnes cake. That all comes in at the end of the season. I have to send in all my futures. It always works like that. And the $500 in and out goes away at the end of the season. I have to bring whatever it is right back to zero at the end of a season for sports. So I'm going to get that cake here. And, I feel like I'm playing with the house's money a little bit. And I want that. Yeah. I just, I want the rush right now. And that's been a good year. And those of you who saw me at the beginning of the year, I was down 23 units on this show and it was embarrassing. So now being up double-digit units is a turnaround that makes me very proud.
At what point? Yeah. At what point would you hedge this Dallas Golden State series if they go down this game?
Well, yes, I imagine that. What would you? So for me, I imagine that the Warriors would still be slight favorites, very slight,
right?
Because they lose game 2.
If they lose game 2,
to win the series, very slight. I would love a pick 'em. But I think it would still be Warriors minus 120 or minus 130, and the Mavs at either plus 100 or plus 110.
I think it depends on how bad they lose game 2 if that happens, because that means a lot to beat Golden State in this in the playoffs in this postseason at home, right?
I'm pretty comfortable. I kind of like. Unfortunately, it didn't give me a chance to hedge. But I kind of like that the Warriors destroyed them in game 1.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that with my Mavs money. I kind of like that angle. Kind of like the wake-up call. The Warriors had a very important rest advantage. I kind of like the situation here. So, and now I've lost the 6.5 to 6. And in the road games that I was betting, I think I bet 2 of the 3 road games. No, I think I bet them all now that I go back to it. I think I bet them all. And I took the spread in each one, and Dennis was saying, take the money line. And then watching them lose by 30 on a spread bet pissed me off. Whereas if I was on the money line, I'd be like, at least I got balls. And I didn't have balls last year. Maybe I'll have balls here. Let's break it down. West Finals game 2, Golden State Warriors lead 1-0. Mavericks were 23-18 on the road. The Warriors were 31-10 at home, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Because the Warriors are now 7-0 at home in the playoffs. And they've won the last 13 series in which they took game 1. Let's start with the line history, and then we will talk about the cash, and then I'll just set a quick table. It opened at 6.5 at Bet365.
Yeah.
It opened at just after midnight. It's 7 hours after it went to 6, and then it went back to 6.5.
Went back to 6.5. Yeah.
Yes. When was this? This was at 8:30 in the morning. So it went back to 6.5. I didn't realize that. I had no idea that it went back to 6.5 at 8:30 this morning. I thought it
got clamped down quick though. It went right back to 6 really quick though.
Within 29 minutes.
Yeah.
29 minutes.
That's scary. That's one thing that's scary.
Interesting. Okay, let's take a look at where the cash is here. I think this will help tell the tale. 27,476 tickets in.
Okay.
56% of the tickets are on the Warriors, 65% of the cash. So bigger bets are coming in on the Warriors on the spread. Money line, same deal. 74% of the tickets on the Warriors, 81% of cash.
and
From a
it
total
got down.
Yeah.
Eesh.
45. It's been a 5-cent move on the money line for me. I could have had the plus 215
Mhm.
and it moved to 210
Mhm.
at some point in the last 24 hours. 45% tickets on the under, 58% cash is on the under.
Mhm.
Dennis Garcia says, based on shot quality, you can make an argument Dallas should have won game one. Kid was
Mhm.
happy with the
Yes.
shots they were getting. I said the same thing after game one of Phoenix Dallas. You
Yes.
did say the same thing. And so did Jason
Yeah.
Kidd. This is what he said. Quote, unquote, there were a lot of great looks that just
Great.
didn't go down. It happens. It's basketball. Hopefully we get those same looks in game two. And that's all that needs to be said. Who cares that you lost? It doesn't. I'd prefer to lose game one by 30 than lose game one by 1. Honestly.
Mhm.
It's just a better angle to have my team in, knowing that this is who we're playing against. This monster can destroy us. In the
Mhm.
regular season, the Mavs had the slowest pace in the NBA, 95.64 possessions a game, and it
Yeah.
got even slower in the playoffs, 92.79.
Yeah.
In game one, the Warriors tried to press the pace. They were 98.74 in the regular season, 99.54 in the playoffs, and they played it at 96.50 possessions a game.
Yeah.
which
They
is too
pressed it
fast.
though. They pressed it though, Jay.
Mhm.
They pressed it. That's I'm glad that you read that stat, right? Because what have we been saying ad nauseum about Dallas's pace, and specifically two players who you can't speed up. That's Luka and that's Joker, right? You can't speed those guys up. They're going to play their game and play at their pace. And what I had seen Golden State do was, okay, you know what? We might not be able to speed you up, but you're not going to slow us down. And there was one specific play where I'd seen Draymond grab the board, and instead of letting the defense get into their set, he went coast to coast. Transition defense by Dallas was just terrible because they have this mindset. You know what? You're going to play slow. That's fine, but you're not going to slow us down. So yeah, that was key in my opinion. Besides all the missed shots, all those goddamn missed shots on Dallas's end was the reason why they had lost the game. Because they said, you know what, Luka, go ahead, play at your pace, bruh. We fine, but you're not going to slow us down. You want to be slow, you want to let your players get into their actions or whatever, that's fine. That only helps us out defensively, But at the same token, man, they pressed that ball up. So that pace was pretty fast against the Dallas team.
Well put. I like the breakdown. I'm going to drop a couple more stats, and then let's hear how you are attacking this. You talked about how badly they were outshot. 56.1% for the Warriors, 36 for the Mavs. The Warriors shot 34.5% from three. The Mavs 22.9%. Then what happened on the glass? They were out rebounded. The Mavs were out rebounded 51-35. Luka was held to a season low 20 points, 6 of 18 shooting. I'm very comfortable with that. I'm just comfortable with them getting destroyed. I like that mindset. But this is what they were from three. Luka was 3 of 10. Bullock 3 of 10. Brunson 0 for 5. Bertans 0 for 4. And what have the Mavs already done? They've come back from a 2-0 hole against the defending Western Conference champions. So, the Warriors are a very good basketball team, and it's going to be very, very tough out. But I still think they can do it, and watching game one hasn't changed anything. I haven't bet on this game yet. Take it away, Darryl. How you getting paid? West Finals, game 2.
Let's talk this out, Jay, and I got a question for you. And it was kind of the same question I'd asked regarding game 1 of Miami and Boston. Do you think that it was just better defense that just created poor offense on Dallas's end? Or do you think it was better Golden State defense that created that poor offense on Dallas's end? Or do you think Dallas just outright, the shots were the issue?
I think the heavy legs and the drama of destroying the Suns in front of their fans and watching them walk out and then having to fly to San Francisco against a team that's a juggernaut. I don't think it was X's and O's.
Okay. So now they have what you would consider equal rest, right?
Not really. No, because No, because the Warriors had that extended rest. So no, the Mavs are still behind the 8 ball, and I wouldn't say that the rest can be equal until we're in Game 4 or Game 5.
Okay. I asked that question because this is the question I was asking myself in picking a side here. So there's if you guys in the chat have the answer to that question, let me know. I've already taken a side, so I'll come out and say it. I did take the Warriors -6. I am on Warriors -6. And the reason why I had chose the Warriors because that was just a very, very convincing win. And I kind of felt that those shots didn't drop because they were looking at second and third options. Really, Andrew Wiggins' defense on Luka was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the defense that I had seen Dallas going was crazy to me. You had two players who didn't have the best game, and that's Clay and Steph. Per usual, for whatever reason, they're just not there. But do you know, I can see the better defense. Do you know what they were still doing to Steph? They were doubling Steph, bro. They were still doubling him at the top of the key. And that's telling you, it's very telling for an NBA player, you know, and from an NBA player's perspective, they still respect this man. So even after a shitty game that they had and that Steph had, they're still doubling him, whether it was Bullock and Luka together. So maybe that's telling me that, you know, Luka really can't take Steph on his own, or whether it was Bullock and Jalen Brunson together. But I had seen so many doubles on Steph. This is what left points open. And this is what really, really gets Golden State moving, is that third and fourth pass, right? Steve Kerr is huge on the ball and energy, and it creates energy. And he's even got his players saying that, right? So once you get past that second pass, the defense starts to collapse, things break down, he can get open. This is why Kevon Looney had a great game. Speaking of which, you got to get this man in foul trouble, or he's going to have another great game. Because you don't have the size once you get past Dwight Powell, right? You do have Maxi Kleber out there. Maxi Kleber going to shoot threes. But what's getting the boards for Golden State right now is Kevon Looney. When I looked at those numbers, this is why I had took Kevon Looney's PRA, and he had that by the first half, right? So there's two things that made me look at this game and say, okay, maybe this won't end up like the Boston-Miami Heat series. I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I think I'm joining the dark side, and that is I think Boston's going to the championship. I don't think the Heat has a chance, right? And I'm a firm believer that the way that Golden State is playing, that Golden State is going to the championship. So your final should be Golden State and Boston. I honestly believe that. And looking at how Golden State played Dallas, it just seems like, hey, yeah, you got to make your shots. But if they make their shots, they're not stopping Golden State from making their shots because they have so many other options. If you're doubling Steph Curry, then you have a player who's open. And so whether Jordan Poole's going to get his shot off, whether Andrew Wiggins is going to get his shot off, I'm telling you right now, man. Nate says, welcome, Darryl. Yeah, it's taking me some time, man. But what I'd seen yesterday, I had nightmares last night. So the angle that I'm taking here is if we're giving Dallas a lot of praise, I don't think they have the tools really to beat Golden State, because Golden State wins by committee. Once you take Luka out of the game, then you're depending on other players to make shots, in which I believe they can. So all in all, I like Golden State full game here. That's why I took the full game. I didn't want to mess with any quarters, and I really was going to jump on the first quarter, right? But I do believe that there's value in the first quarter over. I do believe that first quarter, I believe, is 53.5 or 54. I believe that it's a higher scoring first quarter for the Dallas Mavericks, that they'll get off to a better start. But I also jumped on Reggie Bullock over 15.5 PRA. Because Reggie Bullock, man, had 10 open threes. He shot 10 threes, bro. And he only made 3 of them. So if we're thinking that it was a bad shooting night for Dallas, those open looks are going to be there because you really just want to contain Luka and hope that everybody else don't get their shots off, right? So you had Spencer Dinwiddie who made some points for it. I think they were kind of garbage points, but I really, really like Reggie Bullock in the position that he's in to make points, rebounds, and assists over 15, or over 15 and a half. I got it at minus 106. Reggie Bullock, points, rebounds, and assists over 15 and a half. Because I do believe he's going to have a better shooting night tonight. I do believe he'll get you about 12 points. So if you're telling me I need an assist and a couple of rebounds, I'm with it. So yeah, this might come late in the game, depending on if it's a blowout or not. So if you like Dallas, I would take Dallas first half. I would not take them full game because we've been preaching this all damn year, bro. And that is, regardless of how Golden State plays, it's that third quarter blitz that you got to watch out for. This is why a lot of cappers, a lot of smart cappers really live bet Golden State, because the odds of them being behind first quarter and face first half is more likely than not. And then they come out in the third quarter and they just, they got their forks and knives ready, man, because it's barbecue chicken and they get you, right? So if you're going to bet this game and try to get tip off, look at Dallas first quarter, first half. If you're convinced that Dallas just had a bad shooting night and they're not going to shoot that way again tonight. But if you think you can get a better line and you think that Dallas is going to win this game, I would wait. Or I would get it early. If you think Golden State's going to win this game, rather, I would wait to see if you got a better line live. But me personally, what I saw in game one was it's win by committee. It's win by committee. So maybe Luka does try to go off and get you points, but then that won't involve everybody else. And I just don't see that happening. So Kevon Looney could be also another look unless you get him in foul trouble, Jimmy. But I do like Reggie Bullock over 15 and a half PRA. I think he's in a good spot to where he's going to have his open shots. I think Steph, I don't know how the lineups work. Wiggins was on Luka. Brunson might have been on Steph, and Bullock on Clay. I would have to see that, and then I have to see how they worked around. But yeah, it's kind of tricky. But I think with at least 10 threes that he shot up, 10. I think he had the second most for that game. He's going to get those open shots again. So they just got to drop him.
I love the breakdown. Do you want Bullock at 14 and a half at minus 120? It's available at Bet Online because the 15 and a half at FanDuel is minus 115 anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. I'm going to look. I might have had that number wrong. It could already be at. I'm gonna see what I placed out on here.
RA minus 120. Okay. Our man Lee Davis, whom I love capping.
I got it at minus 115. I apologize. Not
at 15 and a half.
At 15 and a half, minus 115.
So would you want the 14 and a half at minus 120?
Minus 120. I mean, I just think I got to stay true and play what I played. Right. So
not really. I mean, we give you, because there's times where you'll get hurt. You've been hurt more times than it's helped you on this show, giving out lines that are available now. So because you've been hurt more times than it's helped you, there's no reason not to take whatever you find most appealing.
Let's do it, brother. Let's do it. Let's go to 14 and a half.
So Lee Davis has said something very interesting.
Okay.
And sent me something very interesting. So let's discuss this. So the team that wins the shot quality score, wins their next game 62% of the time.
Nice.
So the Celtics won the shot quality score in game 1, 105, 103, then, dominate in game 2. So we've already heard Dennis saying that, Dallas won the shot quality score for game 1. But, and this is the point that he wants to discuss here.
Okay.
When Golden State emptied their bench with 5 minutes remaining in the game, the Warriors led the shot quality score, 99-97. So this is not a situation where Dallas is coming in I'd say that stat should stop at the 503 mark, and the Warriors won the shot quality battle in game 1. Do you agree with that?
Okay.
Who cares if the fucking subs had bad, ruined the shot quality win for the Warriors?
I don't know. Okay, ask me that question again. So you're not, is your garbage time at the 5-minute mark, or when you saying when all the subs?
Yeah, in the last 5 minutes is when Dallas won the shot quality score for game 1. Now they underperformed their expected score by 20 points, which is huge. But and Dennis Garcia says yes, but it wasn't a 20-point margin. Dallas needs to make shots. It comes down to Dallas needing to make shots, but I don't think that we can use the stat that Dallas will win game 2 62% of the time, because they were losing the shot quality battle before the subs came on.
Right. But so this is why I asked the question that I did. And I'm like, was this just a poor performance by Dallas's offense, or essentially did Golden State's defense create that poor offensive performance?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my. Now, obviously, I'm jaded because I've been on the Mavs for, I don't know, I'll look at the date when I moved on them, but I don't know, it's 3 months now, and they've been very good to me. So yeah, I'm going to say, look, Draymond Green scares me defensively. Wiggins has been this player who is never capable of, and I don't want to draw parallels to his father, but he was never able to play with the heart and soul that we always thought he was capable of when he was drafted first overall.
Yeah.
And now having the opportunity to defend Luka Doncic, maybe we've woken him up, and maybe he's going to play the very best basketball of his entire career.
Well, on the mismatch, because I'm just an avid podcast listener, right? And I quote that all the time because it comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? So, but yeah, they were saying, Kevin O'Connor specifically said, first off, he wasn't a number 1 pick, right? He should not have gone number 1, but he did, right? And the reason why he likes Wiggins right now, Jimmy, is because he's in a system that supports what he's good at, right? He's in a system, a great development system. This is why you have Jordan Poole, who's kind of coming out of the closet now as one of the, this guy can go and probably get, the bag somewhere else as a first option for another team, first or second option, right? So it's just the development that Golden State has. It's that whole coaching staff, what these guys do behind the scenes. And for real, man, Wiggins has kind of came into himself, and they know Wiggins' strength. It's kind of scary, though, because we were just talking maybe last week that no one could contain Luka. No one's going to stop Luka, right? But Wiggins just went out there and pretty much clamped him down, man. So do you see that same thing happen again? And this is kind of why it's just a cause for pause for me, really, is, if Boston was able to make the adjustments that they did to Miami, beat Miami at home the way they did, then maybe Dallas can kind of do the same thing. This is just kind of a theory, right? But Boston is just on another level than Dallas, right? Golden State has the players, they have the experience, they have the depth. Golden State has, enough size against Dallas, unless you bring in Boban. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to bring in Boban to play this series. No. So after Powell, man, you have nobody. So they're going to continually get beat at the boards, right? They're going to continually get beat in a lot of different spots because Golden State has that advantage. So this is why I feel that this 6 is kind of a key number, right? If anything, Golden State should be able to handle these boys the way it looked like in game 1 in 5-6 games, honestly. 5-6 games, they should be able to handle Dallas the way they're playing. Just keep that same game plan. The only thing that's got to change, and this is the reason why I didn't go heavy at Golden State, is the fact that Dallas did not make their shots. They did not make their shots at all. So this is why I've leaned also on the Bullock. I saw Nutflush say that look at Bullock's over 9.5 points. That man, I might just add that, Jimmy. I might just add that. I think I was looking at his points also. I think his average though is like 8 points. So they got you right at that cusp if you want to take it or not. But I couldn't talk you off of that play either. I just think these guys are going to be in a better position to make shots. And if I'm thinking that way, then I probably need to look at the over on this game as well. I think that this game can go over. The total points for Golden State is 110.5, Jimmy. Right? Mm-hmm. They've been hitting that number. They hit it against Memphis, but we know they're high-scoring teams. Like I said, Dallas might play a slow game, but Golden State has made it official that they're not going to slow down, right? They're going to just keep it going. So even looking at the Golden State total points again, going over 110, I think that's a good look. I think this total can go over. I think so. So yeah, good comment by Martinez. Golden State more rebounds. If they did it to Memphis, they could do it every game. And this is what I'm talking about, man. And I mean, you've got Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson over there. So yeah, this is one of these things too. Those types of factors of the game tell me that Golden State's in a better position to keep laying the smack down, than what I've seen out of Boston and Miami.
Oh man, I
know it sucks because you've got Dallas, man. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so
nothing. This doesn't suck at all, man. I remember when it was 2-0 Phoenix and it was coming back to Dallas, and
yes,
I remember the sentiment all around. So I'm not. None of this sucks, man.
I hear you.
This is all falling into place perfectly. Well, I wouldn't say perfectly, but I would prefer the Mavericks to have lost by 30 than to have lost by 1.
Right.
So
I hear you.
That would have scared the Warriors. Right now, the Warriors are fat and happy. And Wiggins thinks he's the fucking defensive player of the year.
Oh, this guy! Look at you, man!
Drop
slander,
my balls right
slander,
in Wiggins' mouth is what I would do.
This is slanderous.
I would come down from the ceiling with my balls out and pop them right in Wiggins' mouth. That's what I do, and I'd say this is from all of us up in Canada, Andrew. That's what I would say.
I'm telling you, man. But it's quite. For what it's worth. Golden State wins even by 30, 40 points tonight. If they do, they did what they were supposed to do at home, right? So you handle your business at home, and then we'll see how game 3 looks.
And a little point on Boban from Piker. He said that Boban can fit so many goldfish in his hands, though.
Bro.
Mavs plus 6. Not Mavs in 6. Mavs plus 6. Man, okay. This is going to be so much fun. I have not made the decision about the spread and the money line, but before we had this whole conversation, I was going to bet money line, and now I'm like a little fucking bitch moving towards the plus 6.
I'm telling you now, Jay. I mean, I am literally afraid to bet now because of what Boston did to Miami yesterday. Dead ass, man. Right now, I'm just looking at these games like, God damn. Miami was just money in the bag for me. And then I laid down and all I could see was Nate's little avatar fruit cocktail. Just the whole night. Fruit cocktail. You know what I'm saying? Because, Boston just beat the brakes off of Miami. So
destroyed them,
bro. Destroyed them on their own home court.
Look what Billy's saying here. Says someone needs to break Steve Kerr's geriatric back and ask him about the code. That's so good, man. Oh, that's so good. We need to make those T-shirts, Billy. We'll get those T-shirts made. ASAP. I love that.
Yeah,
well, regardless of what's happened, we only care about what happens here. And you are spectacular here, and you're coming off sweeping the board here. So let's see you sweep it again. Warriors -6 at -107.
Mm-hmm.
And Reggie Bullock over 14.5 points. We're going to assist at -120. And Darryl, we will see you on Wednesday. And let's just take a quick look at the schedule. What will have happened by then? Let me just see here. Pull up the schedule because on Wednesday,
third game.
Say what? Will we be
That's game 3.
Game 5? Or will game 5 have been the
Wednesday?
night before? Let's just quickly. I need to see where we'll be
That's
here.
game 3 and 4, right?
Let's go here. Get the schedule up. Here we go. We have the 20th. So you'll be back on. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Sorry, my bad. You'll be back on Wednesday, the 25th.
2 days to travel, so
Yeah, so that'll be before. So that we'll have finished the 2 games in Dallas.
yeah.
So it'll be the night before game 5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
gonna be
man.
fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I'll probably be watching this game at the reception. So we'll see, man. This game scares me though. It does scare me. I'm not gonna lie. But you got to look at what Golden State has done. And I know I'm rambling about it, but man, this one we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I love it. Darryl, thank you so much for rolling with us. We will see you on Wednesday, the 25th, the day before game 5 of this series. It just keeps getting more fun and more exciting. Follow our man, Darryl, on Twitter at It's Darryl, hitting 60% on this show. He's being spectacular. Get that cash, my man. Any last words for the Cappers?
Go out and enjoy the day, man. You know I will. Jimmy, brother, it's always a pleasure to be on the show. It's a pleasure to be on the show talking ball with you. Thanks for this opportunity, and everybody in the chat, man. Much love to all y'all. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. I just feel like in a lot of cases, y'all have made me a better capper in how I look at the game. So yeah, I appreciate y'all, and y'all enjoy the day.
We love it. There he is, Darryl, coming to us from Los Angeles, California. All right, we have a Say Hey play of the day coming up. So we've reviewed NBA. I will be on the Mavericks. I still have to decide between money line or spread. I will still be moving there. We have Darryl on the Warriors and Reggie Block over 14.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Let's review NHL. I'm on the under 5.5 at -115 in the Rangers Hurricanes game. And that right now is at -120. Okay, so I beat that by 5 cents. And I'm adding the Hurricanes -1. It was -170 plus 145. It's actually now -175 plus 155, which is strange. I'm fine with that. And then I am on the Flames -1. I've already moved on that. Babano is on the over 6.5. And he got -105 there. I'm surprised that's not more juiced. God, I can't wait to watch that game. So much. How am I going to watch that game when the Warriors game's on? You're a good question. Let's review MLB. The slap that ass play of the day from Red Girls, Arizona, first 5 under 5.5. Ron Crawford, MLB spread play of the day is the Cubs. Taint play of the day is Cards first 5 -0.5. And Sharpie gave us Pirates team total under 4. Detroit, Cleveland, first 5 under 4.5. Seattle, Boston, first 5 under 4.5. And that's it. That's what he gave us. But he's also on the Brewers -1.5. All right. Before we get into the Say Hey play today, which we will close with, let's review Babano and I's action. Babano's on the Cards first 5 -0.5, -102, and full game -139. He's on the Yankees first 5 -0.5, -136, and the over 8.5 in White Sox Yankees. I'm on the Yankees score first at -125. Then we stayed off Dodgers Phillies. We stayed off Rays Orioles. And Babano's on the Reds first 5 plus 136 and full game plus 148. That's at the Rogers Center in Toronto. I'm on the Tigers first 5 -115, and I'm adding the Detroit Cleveland under 9. Again, that's the win very heavy at the beginning of the game, and it completely dies off by the end of the game. Babano's on the Tigers first 5 -118 and full game -105. Mariners Red Sox, we stayed off. I'm on the Minnesota KC first 5 under 4.5. Babano's on the Royals first 5 plus 110. I'm going to add that as well. Nice, Nut Flush. I love it. Coming in, cashing your horse tickets. Respect. Texas Houston first 5 under 4.5. I'm on. And that's at -110. And I'm going to add the Brewers -1.5. Mets Rockies is going to be snowed out. Babano doubled up on the A's first 5 and full game, plus 164, plus 165. I'm interested in the A's first 5. I'm interested. And then Babano closes his card with the Padres Giants first over 7.5 at -109. Let's bring in our star of the Say Hey plays of the day. He's got a Say Hey play that involves the Atlanta Braves and Miami Marlins. I wonder if this will push me towards Trevor Rogers. Let's see what he has to say. Jose, how are you, my friend?
I'm all right. Pretty tired.
Okay.
Angry at my shitty spelling abilities, just my Achilles heels, but I'm not going to do anything about it. But I'm excited about today's card. A lot of pitchers I like. Maybe some revenge spots, aka Dallas Keuchel, because I was also on that train of people betting the Yankees that day. But I'm willing to lose my money again. But we're not talking about that game, and I think I am here to give you that push. Even though we both went in on a play yesterday, we both lost. I think we can join forces and potentially win.
Well, let's hear it. You are talking Charlie Morton, Trevor Rogers, and let's just see if there's been even more market movement here. So I'm happy you're talking about this game here. First off, let me just go over here. Yes, because I needed more info on it, and we're still exactly where it stands. So there's been a 10-cent move towards the Marlins. They've gone from plus. We're just about to stop the show. Close the show. Can you? Sorry, we have. I'm not sure what card is playing with. Some sort of a rattle machine. Plus 110 down to plus 100. Take it away here. Break down your look. Say hey, play of the day, Braves Marlins.
Well, I'll tell you this: the thing that basically pushed me over the edge, and perhaps maybe it'll come back to normal because all things they all even out. Right now, the Atlanta Braves are dead last this month against lefties. 30th, 70 weighted runs created plus. And that was kind of the thing that gave me the little push that I needed to go over there. 7th are the Miami Marlins against righties, 117 weighted runs created plus. I'm on the first 5 money line, minus 105. If someone asked me why I was on first 5 and not full game, I really wouldn't have a good answer for you, to be honest. Maybe I'm just trying to be a little safe and identify or just target Trevor Rogers specifically, avoid the Marlins bullpen. But I mean, I don't have their bullpen numbers in front of me right now, but off the top of my head, they aren't like a tragic bullpen that I would need to avoid at all costs. So, if you like that plus money, I definitely don't hate that. But I'm on the first 5 minus 105. And as we're speaking, I'm pulling up bullpen stats. So as long as I can filibuster just a bit longer, I'll tell you that the Miami Marlins have one of the better bullpens in baseball, a 3.25 ERA. So yeah, I don't hate going full game with this one, but I locked in first 5 money line.
All right, say hey play of the day. What is the say hey record right now, and who is your guest on today's show?
Record is an excellent question. I will pull that up right now. But my guest is the illustrious Connor Mack, of course. Connor joining me every Friday, lovely human being. And the record, we're at 11 units again, which is nice. We had a winning day yesterday. As always, one of the things you learn when you're capping with someone so long, apparently you need them to cap well. And though me and Jimmy don't talk baseball, and that is a very specific reason, I don't want to copy Jimmy's picks. But I'm 147 and 136, up 11.87 units. So successful, and I will accept that.
Marlins first 5 minus 105. Minus 105,
Yeah.
first 5. Yeah, I think the reason why you might want to go first 5 instead of full game is just because you want to cut it down because the Braves lineup is tougher than the Marlins lineup, even though you're focusing on the weakness of the Braves against lefties, but that will go away in the 8th and 9th inning. Yeah. So I think that makes sense to me. Say hey, play of the day, Marlins first 5 at minus 105. I like it. We have a huge weekend here at Pub Sports Radio, and tomorrow's going to be massive. We have horse racing all day with the Preakness. You have your MLB baseball show. We have Sharpie's MLB baseball show. We have NBA Pub Hub, and we have UFC all night. Another massive Saturday. Say what, my man?
We've got a big Friday too. Talk about big Fridays. We've got Cash It Fridays, of course. I think that's still going on. A little Preakness action. Little taste before the Preakness.
That was awful. Oh God, that was one of those worst. That was the worst 4 seconds of your entire career on the show. Never make those sounds again.
Your face, I got a good chuckle there. But I will mention our guys, and I'll tease this now. Our guys at No Clean Sheets, Alex Classic Picks, and our guy Flash Gordon Watson. Tonight we've got a show at 7. It's going to preview the end of the Premier League. The last weekend of the Premier League is today. A gigantic weekend, Jimmy. Let me just say this. The Red Sox are chief amongst my teams that I care about most in the world. A close second is Liverpool Football Club. And soccer is one of those sports. I don't know why. It always gets me very emotional. I cry during soccer games frequently. It's just one of those things. Jimmy, I know you want to pull me so fucking bad right now. I can feel it.
I just keep hearing that fucking sound. I can't get that fucking sound out of my head.
I can feel it. I can feel it. But Liverpool in a tight race against Manchester City going down to the last day. Alex and myself and Flash all dominated our show yesterday. Picks-wise, it's going to be a great time. So that'll be tonight at 7. And Champions League is next Saturday. And they will be coming on the show Tuesday with you and Peter for a lovely breakdown of the Champions League final, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. It's going to be a lovely time.
Yes, that will be fun. We're going to talk a little champion. Well, I'm not going to, but Flash and Alex. I like capping with Alex. I love his voice. Always scares
Just the
children.
accent.
Yeah, it's a very haunting voice. I'd like him. You know what? I'm getting. Do people still leave messages? I'll get him to do my answering machine message. All right, we got to put a bow on this. Say hey, play of the day. Marlins first 5 -105. Jose, stick with me here. That is our week, but it's not really our week because tomorrow's Preakness special, baby. Preakness all day, all night. We start at 10:15 a.m. and we go to the end of the golden hour in Santa Anita and Golden Gate. But you know how we do. You're not allowed to leave on a win. So if we win that last race, we must stay. You have to leave a loser. That's just how it works. I can't wait to make money. I need to make up for my Kentucky Saturday because I had a nice Friday. Got to make up for Saturday. But we have nothing without you guys. Shout out to all you guys. Spud, Poker Addicted 79, Maddie, Ice, Jay Peasy, Fashizi, Wallaby King, Rance, Harold Williams, Billy Friedrich, Max Swelly, D. Jenkins, David Summers, Joe Rich. What a great group. Nutflush Allen, G. Martinez, Polo this, Polo that, Officer of 50, Ayash, Yala. All you guys. Andrew Carr, Barry Roselle, Joe Yurkovich, Nasty Nate. We got nothing without you guys. Daenerys, Andrew and Rosa, Lelio Jameson. Says, Jimmy, drop them sacks. Thank you. I love you guys. We got nothing without you. So thank you so much for your support. And, it's just been 2 months of consistent winning here. I think it's been the best 2 months of the 5 years that I've been doing this publicly as a whole group, just cashing. So let's keep that going. Let's get that fucking papaye. On behalf of all of us, thank you for watching Pop Sports Radio. Huge shows coming up. We have Sharpie at 3:10, NBA Pub Up at 4, and Say Hey at 5:30, and then Cash It Fridays with Razor Sharp Picks tonight. Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers. Milk that shit.